And welcome to this retro content from Throwback Thursdays, whether it's from NoDQ.com, the Jeff Meacham Network, Casa D18 Studios itself, a Simple Man's brand, or the J. Hebert Studios, and anything to do with FTW Productions. This will be the content re-aired right here on Throwback Thursdays that you could expect to see on the Casa channel. I know watching back some of our old content, whether it's the open mic night intro where I'm laid on my bed, which I kind of cringe at, especially with this cool ass setup now, or whether it's, just about anything to do with what we have done on FTW Productions, from a Simple Man's brand, from the J. Hebert Studios, to even some Insanity Works and Retro Wrestling Fortune 44 Incorporated stuff. There's some good stuff, there's some cringe stuff, and either way, I hope you guys enjoy that stuff coming up, and, even if you didn't enjoy it, I'll be along with you for the ride. Some of the stuff does not age well, like Jeff's content does. I know he has done a deep dive on his own content and cringed at his own self, but either way, I hope you enjoy it regardless. I know in some of these clips, I have a fondness to them. So with that being said, enjoy this Throwback Thursday, and until next time, we'll see you on the J. Hebert side.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
Hello pals, Alyssa Marino here, and as a friend of Parker Kane Promotions, I am super excited to share the awesomeness that they've got in store for you this November at WrestleCade. You'll be seeing the world-traveling Capital Championship Wrestling Global Fighting Champ Rebecca J. Scott, a rising star who's been featured on Ladies Night Out, MCW, and more, the stunner Emily J., an internationally traveled talent who you've seen on NXT UK and Stardom, Angel of the Ring Zaya Brookside, and NWA World Women's Tag Team Champion Chicago's Sweetheart Missa Kate will also be appearing live. It's all going down WrestleCade weekend in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. You can catch these stars brought to you by Parker Kane Promotions on Saturday, November 25th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And be sure to stick around for Ladies Night Out the following day on Sunday, November 26th. You can get your WrestleCade weekend tickets at WrestleCade.com.
Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from NoDQ.com.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 30 of Talk Wrestling here on NoDQ.com, MySpace.com, and YouTube. Thank you everybody for watching the big comeback show we had last week. I got a lot of comments, got a lot of questions coming in, and people seem disappointed I don't get Ric Flair. I'm sorry. I really would like to, but he's just burnt out. So maybe somewhere down the line we'll have Ric Flair on this show, but for right now it doesn't look good. So. Today's show, we're going to have your questions, of course, and at the end, we're going to talk about SummerSlam, which I believe is this Sunday. So, we'll see what happens. Hopefully, we'll get some SummerSlam predictions, and we'll talk about what's going on with WWE and TNA, and we'll get to your questions right now. Jesus, or Jesus, or however you want to say your name here. It's spelled like Jesus, but it could be pronounced Jesus. I don't know. I didn't look at your MySpace. I don't know what nationality you are. When Gregory Helms hopefully returns to the WWE, what do you think will happen to him, seeing as there's no longer a Cruiserweight Championship? I think you'll see Gregory Helms challenge for whatever secondary singles title of the brand he's on. If he's on Raw, he'll challenge for the Intercontinental title. If he's on SmackDown and ECW, he'll challenge for the U.S. Championship. Whatever happens to Gregory Helms, he's a lucky man because he's dating Velvet Sky. And so he's getting well taken care of at home. He's getting well rehabbed. Must be tough being a wrestler and dating Velvet Sky. Lucky bastard. Now, actually, I sent Gregory Helms well wishes when he first got hurt, and he responded very nicely, and he was very gracious. He said my letter was well received. He liked hearing from the fans a lot. I told him a story about how I was hurt in 2001 with a very bad car accident, and one of the highlights of watching wrestling that year was the Alliance storyline. Yes, nobody liked the Alliance storyline but me, but I liked it. It was a good story. And seeing Gregory Helms, Shane Helms evolve into the Hurricane and be the European champion and the Cruiserweight champion during that era was very cool. And I remember he and Storm had a great match with the Hardys at No Mercy, I believe it was that year. And that just perked my spirits up, just to see those four guys tear it up. It was really cool. Hopefully they'll find something to do for Helms. He's a great athlete. I've always liked Helms. I liked him even when he was part of 3 Count. If I remember 3 Count. Am I going back too far for you non-WCW fans? 3 Count. Evan Courageous, Shannon Moore, and Gregory Helms. Shane Helms. Look it up. There's footage there of them singing with Tank Abbott, who's supposed to be in the next Ultimate Fight or the next Cage Fight or whatever he's doing. He's back. It's funny shit. Iceman, do you think The Rock and John Cena will fight? Will Hulk Hogan and Stone Cold fight? Probably a better chance of Hogan and Austin than seeing Rock versus Cena. Yes, we all saw at the Hall of Fame that, Rock and Cena were going back and forth with one another and making fun of each other's movies and ha ha ha. But The Rock, I believe, is firmly done with the wrestling business as far as in-ring competition. When he gets inducted to the Hall of Fame, you'll see him back, but you won't see him compete in a wrestling ring, I don't think. Hogan and Austin, Hogan is having more fun being on Brooke Knows Best than being in the wrestling ring these days. And Stone Cold makes the occasional appearance. He'll probably be at WrestleMania next year in some capacity because it's in Houston, Texas. So, I don't think you'll see one of those matches in the near future, if ever. And that sucks, because those will both be really good matches. Monkey, do you think TNA Wrestling should get a tag team belt for the Knockouts or WWE for their Divas? No. There are enough championships on all 4 shows. No more titles. No. And besides, there are enough knockouts on TNA to constitute a knockout tag team title, but there's no need for a women's tag team title. They compete for the singles championship, that's fine. WWE, there's not enough partnerships to go around in WWE amongst the divas to form a tag team division. Unless like Beth and Santino are a tag team for the women's tag team title, which is funny. But no, there should be no women's tag. The women's tag team titles were around in the 80s. I remember the Glamour Girls were champions. The Jumping Bomb Angels were champions. But I don't see a need for a current women's tag team championship on either company. Alright, this one comes from Evan, who actually had a question on the show last week. At this point in the year, which WWE superstar do you think has the highest chances of winning the 2009 Royal Rumble and going on to win either of the World Championships at WrestleMania? That's a good question. It looks like at this point in the year, the best contender for the Royal Rumble win is probably going to be Jeff Hardy. I say that because Jeff Hardy was in line for a possible world title push last year before he got suspended. And now that he is back, there's a very high chance of him winning the Royal Rumble. If he does win the Royal Rumble, he'll probably win Money in the Bank at WrestleMania. But I think Jeff Hardy has the biggest chances of winning the Royal Rumble and going on to win either the WWE or the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Rob, do you think that WWE will produce a Rise and Fall style DVD for WCW, starting from the beginning, how the past superstars got their start, like Sting, Flair, Harlem Heat, etc.? They did the Monday Night Wars DVD, which covered WCW's history pretty much. So I don't think you'll see a Rise and Fall of WCW DVD. If they did, I'd buy it, because it would be a very interesting story to tell. And you could get Eric Bischoff to be on there. You can get David Crockett to be on there, because he was part of the early stages of WCW, back when it was still with Jim Crockett. I don't know. Excuse me. It could be cool to see a Rise and Fall WCW, but I don't think they'll do it. I really don't. This is from J-Ro. How do you think SmackDown will benefit with the new WWE Divas Championship? And do you think this is a way for WWE to compete Wow. Do you think this is a way for WWE to compete with TNA's Knockouts division? I don't think WWE is really trying to compete with the Knockouts. I think that WWE has the established Diva brand. They have the Women's Championship on Raw. Now they have the actual Divas Championship on SmackDown. I still think they're going to try and push the SmackDown and ECW Divas to be better wrestlers. So it won't be a matter of you're going to see more pretty faces hold the Divas Championship than actual athletes type thing. In TNA, they have a great mix of both, and most of their good-looking women happen to be really good athletes. You've got Velvet Sky and Angelina Love, who are both very attractive, and they are great athletes. They've been on the independent circuit for a long time. They know what they're doing in there. Gail Kim is still one of the best women wrestlers in the world. The only exception to the rule as far as beautiful people holding the championship is the lovely Awesome Kong. But Kong's a really sweet person in person, and as far as talking to her on MySpace, but she's not the best person to look at. It is what it is. Raisha Saeed is also very attractive under the burqa as cheerleader Melissa, which you saw her on Impact a few months ago as cheerleader Melissa, so you know what she looks like. I don't think it's meant to compete with the SmackDown Championship, or the TNA Knockouts is meant to compete with SmackDown or Raw or vice versa. I think it's just they're trying to establish their own women's division on each show, and that's all it is. This is from a guy who goes by the name "I'm kind of a big deal, people know me." Wow. I have heard rumors that WWE has or is funding Ring of Honor. Is there any truth to that rumor? I also heard that Vince used to fund ECW. Is there any truth to that? There is truth to the rumor that WWE and Vince McMahon used to compensate ECW for their talent. That was on the Rise and Fall of ECW. That's also in the book, The Rise and Fall of ECW, that Vince used to compensate Paul Heyman for picking up his talent, basically wiping out their talent pool. Unlike Eric Bischoff, who gleefully took ECW's talent away from them and had little kids cheer and fall down in the background. And that was always good for ratings, having the kids fall down. No, there's kids everywhere. It's a park. What do you want from me? I have not heard that WWE is funding Ring of Honor. I would find that very funny if it was, because Ring of Honor has a relationship with the NWA now. Little kids. Somewhere Nagel's laughing hysterically. I can feel it. Like I said, I would find it very strange if WWE was funding Ring of Honor, since they have a working relationship with the National Wrestling Alliance now. Matter of fact, congrats to Brent Albright for being the new NWA World Heavyweight Champion. He beat Adam Pearce at a Ring of Honor show at Death Before Dishonor 6 at the Hammerstein Ballroom. The first time in the history of the NWA that the NWA Championship has changed hands in New York City, which has been a WWE stronghold for 50 years. So congrats to Brent Albright. That's really cool that you're the NWA champion. That's very exciting. Lister Fiend, who is better, Bret Hart or Shawn Michaels? The age-old debate, the 15-year-old debate, Bret Hart or Shawn Michaels? Shawn Michaels or Bret Hart? Well, I'll say Shawn Michaels. That's my answer. Shawn Michaels. This is from Edwin. What is the coolest finishing move in pro wrestling history, and what is the most devastating move in pro wrestling history? For me, the coolest has got to be the Stone Cold Stunner, and the most devastating has to be the vintage Tombstone Piledriver. Devastating, a piledriver or DDT, anything that drops you on your head is devastating, as Stone Cold found out against Owen Hart in '97. A reverse Tombstone Piledriver, or not a reverse, a Tombstone Piledriver dropping to your ass instead of your knees. That's very devastating. It can be, if not done properly. Rest in peace, Owen, but you fucked up. The coolest move has got to be a variation of the Piledriver, the Canadian Destroyer that Petey Williams came up with, and Trevor Murdoch was using. He did. I saw him use it a couple times on Raw. That was funny. But the Canadian Destroyer is the coolest move I've ever seen. I saw it live in TNA. Was that really 4 years ago? Oh my god. At Turning Point, and I've seen it live at PWG and shows since. It's just a cool move to see in person. It's very devastating as well, but it's cool to see that much cooperation between two wrestlers to pull off a move like that. It's very exciting. It's very cool. Jordan wants to know, do I think Christian Cage or Eric Young have a chance of beating Joe for the TNA Championship? Christian Cage is always in the title picture. He always has a chance to be the next world champion, whatever promotion he's in. Eric Young or Super Eric, God bless him. He's fun to watch. He's incredibly entertaining, but I don't see him going any higher than a tag team title run or maybe the X Division title. I don't think you'll see him win a World Heavyweight Championship in TNA. That's just I think that's too far fetched, to be honest with you. SummerSlam is this Sunday. As of this taping, we have 7 matches announced. I'll go over them briefly. The intergender, whatever you want to call it, tag team match, Santino, Marella, and Beth Phoenix against Mickie James and Kofi Kingston for Mickie and Kofi's women's and Intercontinental title, respectively. Winner take all. I think that Mickey's been champion since April. She beat Beth for the championship. And I know Kofi's been champion since Night of Champions. Night of Champions, which was 2 months ago. Kofi hasn't really done much except go out and win on Raw. He hasn't really had a big storyline. I guess this is going to be his storyline. I think Santino's long overdue for another championship run. He would have been tag team champions with Carlito, but I guess that's over now since Carlito's on SmackDown. Although we haven't seen him yet. So I think Santino and Beth will be the new champions. Women's and Intercontinental. Intercontinental Women's, I said it. ECW Championship. Mark Henry and Matt Hardy. They're pushing Mark Henry as a dominant monster heel. I don't think you're going to see that change. Matt Hardy will probably put up a good fight, but I think he'll end up on the losing end of it. Let's see. Jeff Hardy and MVP, speaking of the Hardys. I don't see this ending decisively. I see this ending with some controversy. And I see Jeff Hardy pulling it out by the skin of his pants. But I think Jeff Hardy will win. What else? I lost track. damn it. I know it's Hell in a Cell, Edge and Undertaker. Undertaker's going to win and go on to be world champion again, WWE champion again. CM Punk and JBL for the World Heavyweight Championship. Punk will retain. JBL is not, JBL is probably next in line to be your world champion, but I don't think it's time yet. John Cena and Batista one-on-one for the first time ever. I could swear that match has happened before. I really could. I could swear it. But I'm probably wrong. I'm wrong about a lot of things. I think that John Cena needs the win more than Batista does. But I think they both need to put each other over and establish themselves as faces again. So I think John Cena will win, and he'll come out smelling like roses as a result. And, of course, Triple H and the Great Khali for the WWE Championship. If Triple H does not retain, there's going to be a huge uprising in the WWE universe, fan-wise. The fan nation will go crazy. So I think Triple H is going to retain. That's it for the predictions. Check out NoDQ's coverage of SummerSlam this Sunday, live on pay-per-view. You'll see live up-to-the-minute updates on NoDQ.com every few minutes. They have like 7 or 8 different updates for each match. I love their coverage. Bye from Doc Wrestling.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
The Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from the Casa D18 Studios.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's installment of the Renegade of Wrestling. I am your host, JJ Williams. I'd like to apologize to you once again for not having a new episode, having gone up recently. Being as how I'm covering primarily the independent scene. You know, there's shows that happen every week, but there's not a whole lot about them a lot of the time to really spend too much time delving over, so you gotta wait till you get a couple of them under your belt to give the rub to. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do right now, is put over a couple of shows I've seen in the last few weeks. The first one was presented by Battleground Pro Wrestling. Go to battlerageson.com for all information regarding their promotion. The show was called From the Ashes, and it featured Famous B defeating Pretty Peter Avalon in a great opening contest. Y'all have heard me talk about Famous B in the past. Very good friend of mine, of the entire family here at Casa D18 Studios. Let's see what else we had here. We had the Suburban Commandos and the Brothers Derevko, which had a double count out in a very, very intense matchup. Very hard fought. A great fatal four-way elimination match between Jeremy Yeager, Lucha Machine, Chris Cadillac, and the ever-impressive Seville Alvarez. The more and more I see this kid, the more and more he makes me go, wow. On the surface, he comes out looking like a cross between Michael Jackson and Flava Flav, but once he gets in the ring and he starts doing his thing, doesn't fail to impress. Let me see here. We had Chris Cadillac pin Seville Alvarez in the final elimination for the win. And Chris Cadillac, another really good talent. He's going to finally get his chance to shine over at Pro Wrestling Guerrilla in a couple weeks. That's the ultimate test on the West Coast here, it seems. Is when you get called up to Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, you know you've kind of made it in the scene. So big shout out to Chris Cadillac. Also, Famous B is going to get his shot. And Ray Rosas is going to be getting his shot over at PWG at Steenwolf coming later this month, which hopefully we'll be able to get out there and see. Tag titles were successfully defended because of a no contest between the Fugitives, the champions, and Circumsexy, the challengers. And this is going to result in a tag team turmoil match at the next show, Pinky's Playhouse, in which both teams, along with the Suburban Commandos, along with the Brothers Derevko, and along with the Black Knights, are going to be fighting it out to determine the champions. And I gotta say right now, early on prediction, pulling for the Knights. They deserve it. BPW Maximum Championship, Tito Escondido versus Robbie Phoenix. Robbie was able to defeat Tito, become the new champion. Big ups to Robbie. and Tito with a really, really good contest. Again, go to BattleRagesOn.com. There might be some videos, some of these matches. You can check them out. The fight for the Ramirez Cup. Joey Ryan versus Rico Dynamite. Yeah, I'm wearing the Joey shirt, but Joey lost to Rico. At the end of the day, I think it's what was best for the company, because Joey, this was only Joey's second appearance for the company. And to give him essentially what was their version of the Money in the Bank, I just don't think would have been right to all the other people that have been in BPW for a long time, like Rico. You know, like I said, this was essentially their Money in the Bank, so Rico was able to cash in the Ramirez Cup at any point he chooses for a chance at the title. I'm going to get into that in a little bit. Ray Rosas versus B-Boy versus Scorpio Sky for the Ring Warrior Championship. This was Scorpio's debut, B-Boy's second time in the company, and B-Boy ended up taking the title off of Ray Rosas, and this was a well-deserved title change. I had a feeling when B-Boy debuted last month that he was going to become champion very, very quickly, if for nothing else but for all the history that he's got on the indie scene. If you don't know about B-Boy, you need to look him up. Seriously, go to YouTube, look him up, and do some homework. Last but not least, you had the BPW Heavyweight Championship defended. Rick Luxury challenging, our good buddy Mikey Callahan. Mikey was able to hold off the challenge of Rick Luxury, but in true heel fashion, as soon as he got beat, what did he do? He gave a backstabber to Mikey, and here comes Rico with his cup. Cashed it in, and Rico Dynamite is your new BPW Heavyweight Champion. I'm sad to see Mikey lose it, but at the end of the day, like I said earlier about the cup in general, I think Rico deserved it. I think it's Rico's time. I think Rico and Mikey can have a really good series of matches, with Mikey trying to get the belt back. Rico still has Joey in his rearview mirror trying to get revenge for losing the cup. BPW right now is positioned where they've got a nice amount of contenders for the strap. Rico's going to have his hands full in the coming months trying to successfully defend that. Going over to the Santino Brothers Wrestling Academy, which was a week later, I believe. Their student dojo show, which we attended, saw these kids, man. These kids go out there and they're busting their butt trying to make their name in the business, and they may never make it to the level of some of their predecessors that came through the school, but just the heart that they put into their matches kind of gives you that warm fuzzy feeling inside to see the tradition carrying on, and that's what Santino's is all about. As a matter of fact, coming up this week on the channel, we're going to be doing a Santino Brothers retrospective. Let me go ahead and get that plug out there. Pretty much an entire week of Santino stuff. We were at the school this past Thursday, filmed training footage, filmed some interviews, and we're going to try and get some more at Huntington Park Sunday. Hopefully y'all will be out there for that. Try and get some stuff there, and then we might even go back to their dojo again on Thursday, get a couple more interviews to round out the week. All next week is going to be Santino's week on the Renegade Wrestling YouTube channel. But back to the card, you had Andres versus Daniel, and that match wasn't even to happen because Rico Dynamite and Damian Arsenic, the EWF Tag Team Champions, came out, interrupted their match, and decided that they were going to teach these youngsters a thing or two about true tag team wrestling and true wrestling. Put a whooping on them. Ended up beating them in a non-title match because it was not sanctioned by the NWA. Really, really good, hard-fought, smash-mouth way to start off the show. And the rookies were that close to beating Rico and Damian. So definitely something that'll probably be coming in future dojo shows will be the continued feud of them against those two, and probably the win in the coming months. He's got to keep getting that close away before he finally pull the upset. We had Chloe versus Thunder Kitty in a much better matchup than the women's match that happened the month prior. Chloe was able to defeat Thunder Kitty. Chloe was also the very first Wild Women's Champion. Want to give a shout out to that. And Thunder Kitty was the second, if I remember correctly. So it was almost a rematch from the old Wild Championship, but better, I'm getting from Jeff in the background.
I don't mean to cut in. I'm sorry I cut Travis down, but that match was epic compared to the one at Wild. I don't know what was going on. I think what Thunder Kitty had told me at the school was they'd had more matches since then, so they were able to build and get better with each other.
Whatever it was, that match was really, really good, and big ups to Thunder Kitty. She's quickly becoming one of my favorite women's wrestlers in SoCal, along with Lucky O'Shea and Nikki the New York Knockout. Those three right there definitely have the potential to hold down SoCal women's wrestling. And Buggy. Can't forget my girl Buggy. Pinky and Seville Alvarez versus BC Killer and Sean Heads. This was a mismatch, WTF match, whatever you want to call it, because Pinky and Seville looked like the odd couple. And then you had BC Killer and Sean Heads, who the prior month beat the piss out of each other. They were the odd couple. And Pinky and Seville got the victory. And you're scratching your head. You're like, what? But at the end of the day, it was a really fun tag team match. And for a dojo show that's not, really being produced like a bigger company show like an LCW or a BPW, it was a really fun, good match to witness. Lucha Machine defeated Famous B via DQ. Gotta give props out to Lucha Machine, who came out, pointed at Jeff, and was like, I watch your show, dude. Threw the mask and everything. It was freaking funny to watch. And then the main event, Kayam defeated Joey Chaos via disqualification. Both of the main event matches ending in DQ. I was a little bit puzzled and upset about that. But at the end of the day, we know Kayam versus Chaos is built into something bigger. Even within the little storage shed that they call a dojo, where all the blood, sweat, and tears is poured out. Once again, BattleRageIsOn.com, where you can find some of the videos from the Battleground show that I just talked about. SantinoBros.net has a couple of videos up from the Santino Dojo show that I discussed. Be on the lookout next week. Mixed in with all the Santino Brothers stuff, Statboy has got a 9-part epic mini-series of Statboy rants where him, myself, and our good buddy Bruce break down VH1's 100 greatest songs of the 2000s. Like I said, this is 9 episodes, folks. 15 minutes per episode. Do the math. You're looking at over 2 hours of Statboy rants that are going to be going up over the next week. Be on the lookout for that. Be on the lookout for Dad's After the Bell, RSI. And I will see you next time.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
You ever wanted to come into a sports bar where the barkeeps know their game? Well, the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media has got a production just for you. Sit down and relax as the stat boy and his partner break down the statistics in all things sports. Whether it's football, basketball, motorsports, baseball, hockey, soccer, professional wrestling, mixed martial arts, boxing, and much, much more. All are welcome. Your barkeeps here keep you up to date and in the know of everything going on in sports, while also having a pleasant conversation about it all. Your host and owner of the bar, Stat Boy Mike. His partner in crime, Dory Lube. And a host of other guests coming in. The food's hot, the seats are warm, the drinks are ice cold, and the sports talk is plentiful. Casa D18 Studios presents Stat Boy Sports Bar. Take a bar stool and enjoy the show. The Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from the Casa D18 Studios.
Hey, what's cracking, guys? This is the lovely Pinky and my girl Jay. This is the inaugural episode of Chicks Are Wrestling! Wow! We're flipping awesome. For those who don't know who Pinky is, I'm Elizabeth. Hey. This is my girl, Miss Jade. How you doing? And we decided to put together. Yes, dear. We know her as Cripple or the Dyke. That's what the fans call you?
Yeah, dyke, cripple.
I hate the dyke part because I'm your bitch.
Annoying.
So oh,
Yeah, whatever.
well, I don't feel so bad because I'm being called annoying too, so
Well,
I don't feel so bad.
because we're chicks.
Is that what it is?
I think so.
Dude, love it. Hey, to answer a couple of things from SmackDown last night.
Ugh.
Oh my god, I am the tag team champions. No, I am the tag team champions. No, I am the tag team champions. No, I am the tag team champions. Snooze fest. Come on, really?
Oh my god.
We know
that
who
is
the tag team
only thing
champions
that
are.
we remembered from last night.
Oh my god. And besides that, we got our Randy and Sheamus fix, and we don't remember that. But we remember I'm the tag team champions. No, I'm the tag team champions. Snooze fest city.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Annoying. Oh, speaking of Randy and Sheamus. Hey. Wouldn't that be a hot ass tag team? I actually have a suggestion, Dave.
Huh.
I think we should start this wonderful inaugural show off with our hottest guys in wrestling, period. Past or present or even future.
Including Indy or?
Including Indy and Pro. So,
Okay.
we don't know where the hell to start, what number we're going to start, so we're just going to rattle them off. So fuck it. Top 20. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, whoa. No.
I don't know, because we might have different.
Okay, so you want to do the top 100 and start from there and see where we get?
Sure.
Okay, what the hell? Number 100. Who's the ugliest motherfucker out there? Oh. I'm sorry, PG, not really. Now you're going to get it. Oh. Sorry.
Wow.
Number 98, Top Gun Tower.
Wow.
Oh, wait.
I love me some Top Gun.
But he's like, not cute, but we're just going to put you on the list anyway because you're sweet, but you're at the bottom of the list, I'm sorry.
That's what makes him cute, is
the fact that he's sweet and kind of goofy looking. And I'm sorry, Top Gun, but I love you, Bubba, but yeah, but
short.
Oh God, I'll do short. Oh, wait a minute. Shut up, Jake. Number 97. Do you have one, Jake? We need somebody hot, girl. Just hot.
Hot?
Yeah, hot, but kind of in an ugly way. Wait. Who's that wrestler that's like got the Willie Mac eyes? Damien Sandow.
Oh, jeez.
Damien Sandow with the Willie Mac eyes.
Crazy.
I know. I don't think that's her pick, but what is your pick, sweetheart?
Oh
While I'm over here sweating up a box of Storm up here.
Oh,
What is your pick?
God.
Do we even have one?
I don't even know.
Well, give me somebody. Like, give me somebody just like totally having an
I'm
ugly way.
trying to think of something that's like should be like way far
Far
back
up there.
on the list, and I'm thinking about
Taz.
guys that are like
Taz.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he blocked one of our friends on Twitter like he just had a problem. Oh my god, Taz. You are a short little midget troll. Take a joke, troll. Take a joke. Number 96. Al Snow.
I was gonna say that
I'm awesome. Al Snow. And no, we will not be watching the best of Al Snow.
Oh, man.
Number 95. I'm like thinking of like anybody.
Diesel?
Oh, the cat, right? Please tell me the cat, not the man, because Diesel could be like my top 20. So.
Diesel's cute. I'm sorry.
The kitty, Diesel. So Diesel's number 95.
Holy shit.
Okay,
Our first show is gonna be so shitty.
I know, but that's okay. That's what makes it fun. So we can fuck off with that. Oh yeah, we still get our Randy Orton and Sheamus fist. Nice tag team, guys. Ooh, hallelujah. Hey Randy, hey Sheamus.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
Chaos.
Chaos. I didn't say.
Ugly man ever.
Oh.
I said sexy first.
You said the sexiest ugly man ever.
Ever.
Well, he is sexy, and I'm sorry, Chaos. We love you, but you're
We do.
sexy. But
We
you're like
do.
in a sexy like. Ugh, kind of way.
We still want you.
Yeah, I mean, hey, at least you're nice to look at, so I can live with that. And Jezebel's hot. Hey, call me, girl.
Love
What's
you,
up?
girl.
Call me.
I'm still planning on wrestling. Still.
I
need the money, you know.
Yeah, the money together and stuff. Yeah, I know. Think whatever that. Let's see. SmackDown was absolutely horrible last night.
Oh, God.
With the exception of I am the tag team champions, and thank you, Edge, for coming back. And Edge looks
Grow
hot.
hair out again.
No, keep it short, Edge. I love it. No, he looks like a taller, cuter version of Christian.
Oh.
Yeah, he looks like a taller, cuter
Christian's
version of
an ass.
Christian.
No.
Well, I ain't gonna go there, but Cena hates babies. Sorry.
Christian hates people.
Ooh! Beautiful. Let's see. That's pretty much all the hell we remember about SmackDown, and Raw
Oh my
was
God.
totally forgettable. I'm just saying.
I don't even remember the chicks.
Do we?
There was chicks on the show.
There was
last
actual
night.
chicks last night? Oh.
Yeah.
Damn.
Although the champion didn't wrestle.
Yeah, how does that work? That's almost as bad as Layla going into
sat
SummerSlam.
there.
Yeah, she sat there right in her mouth.
And watched
Layla kicked some ass.
and
Natty. Which Natty should have won that match. I'm sorry, Layla, but Natty's better.
Oh yeah.
I don't see why Natty doesn't have a title anyway. What the hell? Oh, wait a minute. Natty's not a diva. She's a woman. So there is a difference. So she does not need to be Divas champ. She's a women's champ. Hey, Vince,
Like
bring
we were
back.
saying earlier.
Yes.
We were talking about that.
We sure were.
We were saying how a lot of the chicks on WWE need to go to TNA.
Shall we start with Natalya, Beth Phoenix, and Eve, who can actually wrestle?
Seriously.
Those chicks need to go to TNA. At least at TNA, they would be used properly. How in the world is it that you're Divas champion, Layla, at SummerSlam, Layla, and not be on the card, Layla? Creative. What the fuck is the problem? I don't get it. I don't get it. How are you Divas champion and you're not even on the card at SummerSlam?
I don't know.
And the only card you get on is
what's it called? Bad
Creative?
Creative.
Creative, you're idiots. You are absolute
Bad
idiots.
booking. That's what I was trying to think.
Yeah, bad creative, bad booking, same thing. Because creative got to go to booking anyway, so same thing. You guys absolutely suck. I'm sorry, the women in TNA, the knockouts
Are not
Yeah.
used. Good. They're stupid.
I don't understand it though, but here's the thing though, they're used more better than they are in WWE. I don't get it. Gail Kim left and came back for a reason. Because Vince, you weren't, using her right and just saying, Vince McMahon.
Yeah, she came back, or she went to went there, came back, and then went there again.
So what does that tell you, Vince?
Obviously something's wrong.
Something's wrong with that picture, I'm just saying. All we know is the Divas would get killed by the knockouts. Oh, Awesome Khan, where are you, boo-boo? Karma, where are you? We miss you, oh my God. That was one chick that scared the bejeebus out of me.
She kicked ass.
Yes, she did. And she beat the guy's ass too in TNA.
Yeah.
So what does that tell you? She could beat anybody's ass, male or female. Ask AJ Styles.
China in the black girl's body.
Whoa! Yeah, and I've been told too many times I look like Karma. I've been told one too many times I look like Karma. Scary.
But you know what? That's a compliment, I think.
Because she is hot.
Because she's gorgeous and she kicks ass.
Hey, I'm a big bone woman and Karma be rocking it.
Black
woman. Thank you, Karma. Please come home. I miss you. I need somebody to just say, kill them bitches. Whoop that trick.
We totally went from like 97
to like divas.
Divas.
So we'll get to like 94 next week sometime. Anyway,
chopping it up.
Yeah, we're totally chopping it up. Because if we go 95 and on, we'll be here all fucking night. I don't feel like about it. Now, let's talk about something a little more fun.
Uh-oh, I'm scared.
She should be scared.
I'm scared.
What's fun is Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. Change their name from NWA Championship Wrestling from Hollywood to just Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. Which is the same company, same people, but they figured shorten the name. What the hell? I like it.
It's a different guy actually running it now.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
I will show you. Watch out, me paying attention. Sorry, guys.
That's why it's changed from to just,
CWF.
Yeah.
Shockley Willie Mack Foundation. What's up, Mac? Hey. Yes, love you. It's been pretty interesting the past couple of weeks.
Biggie.
Oh.
I love you, Biggie.
You are.
I do. But yeah.
I ain't do it, y'all. That wasn't me.
Yeah, you're like family to me. Come on.
Yeah, really don't. Well, yeah. Well, something fun about my photo album, which is not pink, and I'm not wearing anything pink today. Oh my God.
No, she's not.
I'm not wearing anything pink.
She's got blue.
I have blue on. I have some fun pictures I've taken at wrestling shows and maybe Disneyland. Oh, I don't know. Chaos. Yes, you're number one.
We love you.
We love you, Chaos. You're number one in my book. Even if you're the ugliest, cutest man ever.
You're on my Facebook.
Yeah, totally on mine too, so we love you anyway. Who is this? Johnny Goodtime. Adorable. And yes, these pictures were taken a couple years ago when I was like big as hell.
I like you, Ma.
He's so awesome. Let's see. I think.
What did you do?
Adam Pierce next to Johnny, right?
Wow.
I can't say what he was talking about when he said damn, but if y'all can tell, like, you should know why he said damn. Damn. Oh my gosh, I have like pictures from like EWF. Okay, Caddy! Chris Cadillac. Hi, Caddy. What's up? See you at BPW. Battleground Pro Wrestling. This coming Saturday.
Tongue-tied Jade. Sorry.
I've been doing that all day. Sorry. Oh my
She's
goodness.
not making me tongue-tied. She means.
Oh, we don't need to let them know our personal.
Oh, come on. That's why we are loved, because we put ourselves out there for our fans.
I know, but they don't need to know that I've been sucking your fingers all day and making shit happen. I'm just saying. Oh, my bad. Well,
did you say too much?
I might have said too much. I don't know. I don't know. The rest of these are Disneyland pictures, and I'm telling you. Who is this? Buggy! Buggy and Extreme Loco.
We miss you.
We miss you, Buggy.
And we'll see you, Loco.
Loco, you're awesome. Battleground. Hey, how you doing? Rest of these Disneyland pictures. If you haven't checked out my Facebook, I'm totally adorable. Totally adorable.
But it's all about her.
It's so all about me.
Damn.
Let's see. What can we do next? Which should be freaking hilarious. That's that.
Oh my god.
I don't know, but Night of Champions was a bust. Sheamus got to use the bro kick. Oh my god, I just got the results from online. My face is a total absolute sweaty mess. Excuse me.
I just realized I got a hole in my shirt. Whoopsie.
Well, at least yours is smaller than the tits of mine, so I'll be fucking happy. At least you got a small one.
I just love the shirt.
This shirt's adorable. Mickey. Hit. She's a hit Mickey.
See? She's got many pictures and I got Mickey. On my
oh my gosh, we had an absolute time.
I got ears on my boobies.
She has ears on her boobies. I could just fall out laughing. We had a blast at Disneyland yesterday.
We should talk about our trip yesterday.
Oh my gosh. What start? Oh, the bus driver.
Oh my god.
The bus driver on the Orange County line, she had a total fucking attitude, for crying out loud.
Bitch.
No one asked this one to be in a wheelchair. That's not her fault.
If you don't like, doing that kind of a job,
Public servant.
don't do it.
Public servant, because you suck. Bus driver yesterday morning in the OCCA, you suck, bitch. You have issues.
She was rude.
She was very mean.
Rude.
Very rude. Rude. Now, when we
Get
got
ghetto
to...
with it, girl.
Rude. Hello, rude bitch. Now, when we got to the park, who do we get? We got Mad Hatter.
Yeah.
The Mad Hatter. I got the Wicked Queen, and she kissed the ring, which I'm totally not wearing right now because I don't feel like it. And the White Rabbit.
Rabbit. I love the rabbit.
And the rabbit. Oh my gosh, we got Mary Poppins and Bert, I think is his name. I'm sorry, I never watched the movie, so don't kill me, y'all. Yep, Bert. And my best part of my day, besides spending it with the ones I love, my family, Jade, my JJ, and my Mikey, I got to meet the Wicked Queen! I conjured up a villain, and the first one I conjured up, everybody booed me for it because I conjured up Cruella.
Oh.
We've seen Cruella like forever. So I didn't conjure up the next one, but the little girl did. And we got the Wicked Queen, who I have her purse somewhere in this house somewhere. I don't feel like living right now. She was the best Wicked Queen. Cool. She was so cool. She loved my purse. For those of all who haven't seen my purse, I had a Wicked Queen and Mickey and Minnie on the other one. Walmart, $8. Walmart, $8. Walmart, $8.
She was happy that I didn't bring my kid.
Because she was
happy we didn't bring our kids. She actually said that. She's like, oh, thank God.
Thank God, no kids. But it was really fun to have a great time with my friends and family yesterday. Are we being told to wrap it up, Mikey? Stat Boy approved of telling us shut the fuck up, bitch, get off stage. Hell no. Are you telling us to wrap it up, Mikey? Are you telling...
I'm starting to run a little bit, but it's up on you. I don't care.
Thank you, Mikey.
We can edit it later.
Edit this. Well, next week we hope to have a really cool wrestler on the show.
Good.
Because she the one got to deal with it. I don't. Oh yeah. For those who want to know, I'm somewhat sort of single, not quite yet. Again, because the last one, asshole. And everybody else just good help. Let's hope next week we will have a cool wrestler by the name of Willie Mack. Mac, call me. we would love to have you on Chicks on Wrestling.
Maybe from the show.
Perfect! That would be absolutely great. So, from Jaden, Pinky, this is Chicks on Wrestling. Deuces!
Bye.
Red.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
Hello pals, Alyssa Marino here, and as a friend of Parker Kane Promotions, I am super excited to share the awesomeness that they've got in store for you this November at WrestleCade. You'll be seeing the world-traveling Capital Championship Wrestling Global Fighting Champ Rebecca J. Scott, a rising star who's been featured on Ladies Night Out, MCW, and more, the stunner Emily J., an internationally traveled talent who you've seen on NXT UK and Stardom, Angel of the Ring Zaya Brookside, and NWA World Women's Tag Team Champion Chicago's sweetheart Missa Kate will also be appearing live. It's all going down WrestleCade weekend in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. You can catch these stars brought to you by Parker Kane Promotions on Saturday, November 25th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And be sure to stick around for Ladies Night Out the following day on Sunday, November 26th. You can get your WrestleCade weekend tickets at WrestleCade.com.
The Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from NoDQ.com.
Welcome everyone to NoDQ&A video here on NoDQ.com. I would like to thank each and every member of the NoD crew for checking out the videos and spreading the word. You guys are awesome. With that being said, let's get right down to your questions via FormSpring. Hey Aaron, what were your thoughts on Raw this week, including the segment with Miz and R-Truth being fired? Well, top to bottom, I thought Raw was really good this week. I was thoroughly entertained from start to finish. Starting with Miz and R-Truth, I like the storyline that they're doing. It seems at this point like they could be going in a direction of like an NWO type stable with Kevin Nash, R-Truth, and Miz. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, it was just announced on WWE.com Tuesday morning that Miz and R-Truth were released in Future Endeavored, and we all saw what happened with Kevin Nash, and obviously Miz and R-Truth are going nowhere. And the basic terms here is that we're probably going to see them at Hell in a Cell in less than 2 weeks now. But yeah, it does look like some kind of stable might be forming. The Outsiders, the Future Endeavored Club, whatever. It's definitely interesting. And as far as Hugh Jackman goes, I thought he did a really good job as the Raw guest host. And, you know, sometimes we would come to dread these guest hosts. But Jackman acted like he wanted to be there. He seemed like he was a fan, and he didn't act like he was above WWE and that being there was just a chore. He seemed like he was having fun, and I think Zack Ryder got a great rub off of Jackman, the woo-woo Wolverine. Just great stuff there. Very happy for Zack Ryder. He got a big moment, and the crowd was really into him. Awesome stuff right there. And so yeah, Hell in a Cell shaping up. I really enjoyed the Mark Henry segment. I think WWE's doing a great job with Mark Henry. And apparently Jerry Lawler got hurt for real when Henry did the world's strongest slam on Lawler through the table. So hopefully Lawler's okay. But yeah, Henry is looking like a true monster, and it's just sad because his title reign's probably going to end at Hell in a Cell, and I'm not getting my hopes up that they're going to do anything long term with him, but they really should. It would be great to see Henry go on a rampage for several months as world champion. Why not? It doesn't really matter who the title is on. Orton does not need the title. It's a situation where whoever the champion is, it's not going to make any difference in business one way or another. So why not have Henry be champion for a while and make the title mean something again? That would be me if I was in charge. I would give Henry a nice solid run here. And he's got so much momentum, so why just kill it at Hell in a Cell? But unfortunately, I think that's where WWE is going to go. Probably Orton's going to be champ again. I don't know. Why hasn't William Regal been a world champion considering he's been around longer than Mark Henry? Well, the thing with Mark Henry is that WWE can push him as this unstoppable monster. You can't really do that with Regal. Henry has, you know, that certain attribute, and WWE always likes to push the monsters and the really big guys. So that's Henry's big advantage right there over William Regal. Hey Aaron, what does having Triple H versus Punk as the main event at last Sunday's show more? How over Punk is right now, or how little the WWE title is starting to matter? Well, it wasn't so much the WWE title. It was a situation where Punk is really over, and this was Triple H's first match back in 6 months or so since WrestleMania. And, you know, that was just the match that the WWE figured people were most interested in seeing, and it was. So that was why it was the main event, and, you know, Hell in a Cell, the WWE title is back to the forefront. So there you go. Hey Aaron, it seems to me that John Morrison is jobbing every single match he is competing in as of late. Is this going to be his future from now on, jobbing every match he's in? Well, the situation with Morrison is he's pretty much the guy, you know, that's stuck because of the whole Raw Super Show situation. Now that guys from SmackDown are on Raw, it's going to affect some of the Raw guys that are in the mid-card, and Morrison just happens to be one of those people who's kind of in limbo right now. So hopefully Morrison will be able to get back in there, but yeah, he's in a tough spot. Hey Aaron, love the show, but do you think it was wise of WWE to get rid of a talent like Shelton Benjamin? I remember watching him versus Shawn Michaels and him in Money in the Bank matches, and he never failed to impress me with his in-ring ability. Yeah, Shelton Benjamin was great in the ring. He was really athletic, did a lot of awesome stuff. I remember WrestleMania 21 when he ran up the ladder. One of my favorite moments of that pay-per-view. And just the situation with him is that he never really had the mic skills or the charisma to get past that mid-card level. And he was just there for so many years that he just floundered and was just a guy. And eventually WWE just had to cut some people, and he ended up being cut. It's just the way it was. Hey Aaron, how come some guys like Cena and Triple H don't star in movies that aren't made from WWE studios? Well, it's because I'm sure the legitimate, the big-time movie studios don't want anything to do with pro wrestlers. That's why The Rock, you know, tried to move away from the wrestling persona as much as he could, because it hurt him a little bit. And that's just the way it is with guys like John Cena and Triple H. They aren't going to get those big movie roles. Even Steve Austin, who's completely out of wrestling, retired. He's having trouble getting big roles. He's stuck mostly doing straight to DVD projects. And he's, you know, a major superstar, and he's having trouble. Hey Aaron, does WWE know where they're heading with the Punk Triple H storyline? First it was Nash Punk, then Nash Triple H, now Punk HHH, and now Laurinaitis is involved. They seem lost with the storyline. What's the situation with WWE is, yeah, they're not really sure what they're doing. They change plans constantly. You know, there was a report a month or two ago that there was like 7 or 8 scripts for Raw. So yeah, it's definitely chaos right now. And even CM Punk in a recent interview talked about how, you know, somebody asked him who his WrestleMania 28 opponent is going to be, and he says he has no idea because it'll probably change 150 times. So yeah, it's definitely, WWE could really benefit from long-term planning, but as their track record shows, they really need to do something with their planning. They don't really have long-term planning, it seems, ever. Man, yes, it's bad. Hey Aaron, do you think the reason Hell in a Cell is a triple threat for the WWE title so Super Cena doesn't have to lose cleanly? Yeah, it could be that. I mean, it could be possible that Alberto gets the title back at Hell in a Cell. We talked about the title not meaning much. It just goes back and forth like a hot potato. I like I said in the last video, I was really surprised that Del Rio lost it so quickly. And it could just be where they wanted Cena to have the title back and see what happened with the ratings and see if the ratings go up. That's probably why he won the title back. So it wouldn't surprise me if Alberto gets it back at Hell in a Cell. But I think they also wanted to get Punk back into the mix too. Because, you know, he's been so hot, and then he went into the storyline with Triple H. They want to get him back into the WWE title picture. So, you know, I'm fine with a triple threat match. Do you think Beth Phoenix should have won the Divas title at Night of Champions due to it taking place in her hometown? Yeah, that's another thing about the Night of Champions pay-per-view. I was really surprised that Beth Phoenix didn't win the title in her hometown. That seems to be the way it goes in WWE. If you're in your hometown, you're gonna lose. Don't ask me why. That's just how WWE has always done things. And the wrestling business in general, it seems. WCW did it all the time. Whenever Ric Flair would come into Charlotte, he'd get beat down and humiliated or whatever. I've never understood that. Logic would tell you when the hometown hero's in his hometown, he gets the big win. I mean, CM Punk did in Chicago, and it was one of the most memorable moments in recent WWE history. They did it with Trish back in 2006. So there were a few times where WWE did give the hometown hero a big push. But yeah, it was definitely mind-boggling what they're doing with Beth Phoenix. I said a long time ago that they should push her really strong right now, and when Karma comes back, she'll have a big opponent to work with, but who knows. In 2002, did the smart fans know when Shawn Michaels returned that he would wrestle again, or was it a complete surprise? Well, it was a surprise to me. Shawn Michaels did a really good job of, and WWE too, of not making it obvious what kind of condition Shawn Michaels was in. You know, they kept saying on TV how Shawn Michaels only has one match left in him and his back is broken, and they really did a good job hammering that home and making you believe that this guy really shouldn't be in the ring one more time, but he's going to do one last match or whatever. And yeah, that really added to the dramatic effect for the Shawn Michaels versus Triple H match at SummerSlam. Every single move in that match really meant something. The psychology was just tremendous because you really thought, wow, that must have really hurt Shawn's back. But as it turned out, it was all acting, it was all work, and Shawn was healthy. But yeah, they did a really, really good job with it. And even I was convinced at the time that Shawn was risking, you know, his livelihood doing that match. Do the personal ring announcers, camera guys, and ring introducers, people like this, know about what the outcome will be of a match? Yeah, of course. They all know what's going to happen. Unless it's like WCW where the ring announcers are not clued in and there's chaos and confusion. And that was just one of the many reasons why WCW went out of business. But yeah, you know, WWE is a well-polished machine. Everybody knows what's happening. It's very well choreographed. There's no real surprises or anything. You know, they don't want the show to be a clusterfuck. They're very careful to make sure that everybody knows what's going to happen. Hey Aaron, I watched the Raw's Owen tribute show on YouTube the other day and noticed Undertaker wasn't there. Was he trying not to break character, or was there a reason for him not being there? Yeah, I think it was just a matter of not wanting to break his character, because that's one thing with The Undertaker. WWE's always gone out of their way to make sure that he doesn't break character. Like, Undertaker would never appear for the Hall of Fames and public appearances. He always stayed in character. That's just the way it was with Undertaker. Alright, that about does it for No DQ&A video. You can leave a comment at youtube.com/NoDQCW. Please spread the word, subscribe, tell your friends, anybody who watches wrestling, have them check out No DQ&A video, and we'll see you next time.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
The Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from the Casa D18 Studios.
Stat Boy, and we're doing another one of these questions tag that has been popping up on YouTube. This is my second one. It is an episode of Stat Boy Rants, which will be numbered accordingly. Before we did the 15 ones, these are now 10 questions about your childhood. So if you want to know a little bit more about Stat Boy, pay attention. Question number 1, where did you grow up? Good old Long Beach, California. Been here forever and a day and twice on Sunday. Don't think I'm leaving anytime soon. Long Beach, California. Question 2. Were you a good kid? Define good. If you mean as a good kid as in well-behaved, polite, good in school, yes. I would say I was a good kid. Didn't get in trouble with authority figures, except your parents, because everybody gets in trouble with that. Didn't go to the principal's office. Didn't get the cops called on me until the later years, but that's a whole different story. Didn't really get into fights. Came close a couple times, but didn't get into fights. So yes, overall I was a good kid. What was your worst punishment? Oh boy, here we go. Growing up, with my mom and all that, that wasn't the best of punishments in the world. I mean, yeah, every typical kid gets the good old-fashioned spanking every once in a while, but for some god-awful reason, it's like my mom and my stepdad, they had a fight one time, and my mom just decided to take it out on me, and of course, with the usual spanking or smacking or whatever, she also trashed my room, which was very, very creepy. And I mean, videos getting thrown all over the place, clothes getting thrown all over the place. She even dumped 2 boxes of cereal over my head, which was ever, and I was only like 9 or 10 years old, so this is kind of even hard talking about, but it got, after it finally ended and all that, I ran out of the house and I just ran. I got the hell out of there, and she's chasing after me like a banshee or whatever. And I do remember it was around the holidays, so I ended up going to Garden Grove to my aunt's house with my grandmother, and I ended up spending the night at my grandmother's house. And then the next morning, Mom comes on the door with tears in her eyes, and whatever happened after that was that. So that was pretty much the worst punishment ever. Not one of my strong points in life. Hard to talk about too, but whatever. What did you do during summers? The typical summer stuff: go to the beach, go to the pool, hang out with my cousins. Summer school was involved, unfortunately, in middle school and high school. You have to get a good education. Summer jobs in the later years, barbecues, stuff like that. Typical normal summer stuff, 4th of July, nothing major. What is your best childhood memory? My best childhood memory would be probably all my cousins gathering together at my aunt's house for birthday parties. Because we would have our birthday party, we'd swim, and we were all family at one point. As the cousins got older, the family dinners went out the window for some awful reason. But I would say the pool parties at my cousin's house. What was your favorite toy? It had to have been a... this answer will explain a lot. A red and white Lego set that consisted of a 2-story house with a little carport and a car. I could take that thing apart and put it together for hours on end. I could just take it apart, put it together, take it apart, put it together, over and over and over again. Which probably explains why I want to put them together now, because they're much cooler now than they were back then. But it was just a simple little 2-story house with the windows and the doors and the car and the carport, you know, and all that stuff. That would be my favorite. What was your favorite TV show? The kiddie shows were cool growing up, but honestly, it was The Price is Right. 10 o'clock on weekdays. You know, we'd go to the grocery store and I'd look at all the price tags, and then, you know, the show would come up and it's like, there's a bag of chips. How much does a bag of chips cost? 99 cents. You got to remember, though, this is in the 80s when chips were 99 cents. Now they're like $2. And it was always the shows on CBS. Channel 2. It was always the game shows there. You know, it's like 9 o'clock, the $25,000 Pyramid would come on, and some other game show would come on at 9:30, and then at 10 o'clock, The Price is Right would come on. You know, and Bob Barker would come out and whatever. And my mom and I would be sitting there watching the shows. And the one game that I really would get upset about was cliffhangers. And, you know, there's a little mountain climber, he's climbing up the hill and all that. And, you know, Bob Barker used to love to exaggerate things. And, you know, it's like, he's getting closer to the top, he's getting closer to the top. And then, of course, he'd fall over. And, of course, I'm only a little kid of like 4 or 5 years old, so I didn't know it was a game. I didn't know what it was. And so the little mountain climber goes over the top, and, you know, I started break down and crying and whatnot. My mom goes, you know, what's wrong? I go, the little mountain guy fell over the top, and he's broken into a million pieces. And then they'd come back again 3 days later, and there's a little mountain guy again. And it's like, oh, he recovered. Okay, cool. And he'd fall over again, and then he'd go back. And this time he didn't make it or whatever. And then, of course, the big wheel would come up, and whenever somebody would... I mean, they would power spin this thing, and the wheel would just keep on going and going and going. And Bob Barker would come up and say, you know, okay, cancel The Young and the Restless, because at 11 o'clock The Young and the Restless would come on. And so I would laugh at that, and, you know, my mom would come in and, oh, what's so funny? It's like, oh, Bob Barker says you can't watch The Young and the Restless because this guy spun the wheel too fast. You know, so stuff like that would happen, and then, you know. So yeah, Price is Right would be my favorite game show, or my favorite TV show. What was your favorite game? That would be Monopoly, because of the money going around and all that. And of course, I played, like I said, my childhood was with my mom. So, you know, me and my mom did damn near everything together. So it's like we'd be playing, and, you know, she'd land on Boardwalk with a hotel, and she'd owe me $2,000. And this was like maybe 20 minutes into the game, and she was the banker, because apparently she could hold money better than I could back then. But now the roles are reversed. And next thing you know, she's grabbing money out of the bank and here's the $2,000. I go, whoa, wait a minute, you don't know, that's not cool, you don't do that. She goes, I'm the banker, I gave myself a loan. It's like, oh, okay. So then we continue the game, and it's like she would land on one of my properties twice or whatever, so I would pay her, and it's like, well, you don't get to keep it, you owe the bank and all that. So I was a financial genius at the age of 8 or whatever. So Monopoly was my best game. Were you ever bullied? Bullied. Picked on, yes. During school I was picked on. The only time I was really bullied would be 6th or 7th grade science class. In fact, my science teacher was actually my mom's teacher from 30 years back. This guy was old. And I may have, yeah, not with a walker though, but of course, you know, kids say the dumb things, and I said something stupid, and this one guy who was like on the basketball team or on the football team, you know, he wanted to threaten to beat me up or whatever, and of course I didn't have any money back then, so I had to bargain with him with chocolate. I had to give him candy bars to keep me from beating me up. So if that's considered bullying, then yes, I was bullied. But it happened for like 2 months, and it actually took his girlfriend to get me off the hook. And it's like, she comes up to him one day and, you know, why are you taking this little kid's candy? She goes, because I can. And she's going, you leave him alone. He's the top student in the class. He helps us out. And she put him in his place. And I was like, thanks. Cool. So, picked on, yes, but bullied only once. Do you stay in contact with your childhood friends? No. They've all moved on. I hardly doubt if they're around. I even didn't go to my 10-year high school reunion, so answer that, no. My friends currently are my family, so there you go. 10 questions answered as truthfully, as honestly as I could. If another one of these questions pop up, it's going to be another episode of Stat Boy Rants. So for this episode, you've learned a little more. Put those comments in. Stat Boy out.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
Hello pals, Alyssa Marino here, and as a friend of Parker Kane Promotions, I am super excited to share the awesomeness that they've got in store for you this November at WrestleCade. You'll be seeing the world-traveling Capital Championship Wrestling Global Fighting Champ Rebecca J. Scott, a rising star who's been featured on Ladies Night Out, MCW, and more, the stunner Emily J., an internationally traveled talent who you've seen on NXT UK and Stardom, Angel of the Ring Zaya Brookside, and NWA World Women's Tag Team Champion Chicago's Sweetheart Missa Kate will also be appearing live. It's all going down WrestleCade weekend in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. You can catch these stars brought to you by Parker Kane Promotions on Saturday, November 25th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And be sure to stick around for Ladies Night Out the following day on Sunday, November 26th. You can get your WrestleCade weekend tickets at WrestleCade.com.
The Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from the Casa D18 Studios.
This is James Morgan, NWA and Mach 1 Wrestling Superstar.
This is Chris Masters, the Masterpiece.
This is Downtown Bruno. This is Eric Watts from WWE Tough Enough.
Mikey Nova.
Hey, what's up? This your boy, Sean Black.
This is Jess Bella from Santino Brothers.
Gorgeous Joey Chaos.
Yo, monkeys, it's me, DDP, Diamond Dallas Stage, and you are watching Dads on Wrestling.
The Dads on Wrestling.
Dads on Wrestling.
Dads on Wrestling.
On YouTube.
Week on YouTube.
On YouTube.
On YouTube.
On YouTube. Now stay tuned, or you will feel the bang!
Welcome to episode 30 of Dads on Wrestling. I'm the 30. I'm the Lady Killer Ray Larkin, but of course you already know that. Alongside me, Renegade of Wrestling JJ Williams.
Awesome!
Of course, the one and only Hot Wrestling's own Jeff Meacham.
We came to play. Shout out to Dylan at home.
Yay, Dylan. Alright guys, 30, what do we talk about on episode 30? What are the dads talking about today?
You know what? This is going up our 4th of July week episode.
Yep.
And I cannot think of a better topic than the greatest United States champions in the history of the belt.
Perfect.
Not just the WWE belt that was resurrected in 03.
We're talking all the way back in 1975 and handsome Harley Race himself.
Yes.
Which
Greatest
is on the list.
United States champions of all time. So, we'll
Harley-
start with Harley Race.
Harley Race, you know, I've seen some tapes of him a U.S. champion. This is after his first run as world champion. He's taking a step down like a lot of champions do.
Yes.
But he
Triple H.
ran with it, and he worked it.
You know, I think the reason they did that was because Harley had already gotten over as world champion, and they figure, okay, we need to establish this belt with some prestige and honor. Give it to Harley.
I agree wholeheartedly. He had him, Bobby McDaniel, Valentine,
Rowdy Roddy Piper,
Ric Flair.
Apologize for the wind. It's the desert wind.
Desert wind, desert heat. It is what it is, guys. We're in Las
Deal
Vegas.
with it.
Deal with it.
Like I said on one of the other episodes, it's what you got to do for vacation shit.
That's it. Trust me.
Small price you pay.
It's okay. Congratulations.
Right. Please don't be a bully. WWE doesn't like that. Be a star.
The Bellas don't like bullies, even though they came out and bullied Karma. Called her fat.
We still love the Bellas, though. Anyway.
So,
back on these great
back on
U.S.
the
champions.
And then you move to the WCW era, and I can't think of a more deserving U.S. champion than the early 90s, Ravishing Rick Rude. And yes, people are going to say, what about Lex, Jeff? Yeah, what about it? Seriously.
No, I was going to tell you what about Booker T.
I did not ride on the Lex
WWE.
Express.
Yes, we got WCW. Never won WCW.
I did not ride the Lex Express.
There was a television, yeah.
Television for WCW. That's right.
Now, wasn't Stunning Steve?
Stunning Steve was a two-time U.S. champion.
There you go.
Unfortunately, his legacy will be tarnished with the U.S. title because he got it back by forfeit from Steamboat.
It was bad,
and then lost it in like 18 seconds. That's bad. The first run is champion.
Okay,
Very good. He won it at Stargate. He won it at Stargate and held it for a long time.
Still got to put over Stunning Steve because it laid the groundwork for the man we all know today.
Exactly. You got Stunning Steve. Vader was a very dominant U.S. champion when he had Sting was a couple times U.S. champion. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We're going to ignore Goldberg?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are going to ignore Goldberg.
Scott Hall.
Scott Hall. Scott Hall was an okay U.S. champion. He won it at the point where the NWO was such a boring
let's not pull it over Goldberg, because Goldberg went on an undefeated streak with that championship.
Okay, this is true because Goldberg won his WCW title while still U.S. champion.
Alright.
Called an Ultimate Warrior there for a second.
And unfortunately, after Goldberg lost the U.S. title, the title history kind of
Just went in haywire.
We also
DDP,
skipped over
Lou,
Bret Hart.
Bret Hart, I'm surprised U.S. champion was the heel, swarmy, didn't know how to book.
True. But Bret Hart, just the name itself, helped to try to make sure that the title that was
in the era also of the crazy stuff booking, you had a little clarity, like Storm.
Well, the Canadian, yeah, the Canadian.
But one U.S. champion,
right,
and then rebranded it.
That's right, exactly. Lance Storm carried that title with such honor. He wanted to be the number 2 guy.
Was U.S.
Recently.
When he debuted with the
You're right, I agree. He won it from Rick Steiner at Greed, and then 8 days later, he won the world title from Scott, and he walked into WWE as
It wasn't about that. What it was about, you were just saying Rick Rude, and to this day, I think Booker T back then was better than Rick Rude, even with those accomplishments.
The only problem is Booker T back then was a U.S. champion. The modern Booker that was.
I know.
I agree with you. I agree with you that Booker T is better than Rick Rude. I'm the biggest fan myself.
Well, for watching Monday in those 80s,
the old Rick Rude was champion. The new Booker. That's why I kind of got on that for a second. But anyways, now we're in the WWF era of the United States champion. Invasion.
Kurt Angle.
Yes.
Canyon to a certain extent. Sorry,
Jerry was a...
Jerry had it for a minute. Rhino had it for a minute. Edge beat Kurt Angle. And then the IC title to make it. Great freaking match spot. You think, okay, dead, up to the side, blah, blah, blah. And then the brand splits.
Break them up.
And within a year,
they start plugging the title like
Stephanie McMahon comes out with a new belt and says, back, we're going to have a tournament, and the tournament comes down to the 2 greatest WWE superstars to hold the U.S. Championship, in my opinion, Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit. Eddie won the tournament, lost to the Big Show, and then he lost to John Cena, another great U.S.
made his name with that belt.
Exactly. And
I will not hate on John Cena, the United States champion, because John Cena, the United States champion, is the dude I like.
Exactly. But Benoit winning that championship, I do believe 3 different times in WWE. Made the U.S. championship.
Beating OJ in like a second.
Beating OJ in like 28 seconds, and then 20 or whatever. It's hours.
And then the joke became, what else can Chris Benoit do in 28 seconds? There was even a Photoshop picture on the internet of Tori Wilson, like half naked, sitting on a bed, and a picture of Chris Benoit, like, what would Chris Benoit do in 28 seconds?
Yeah,
that's awful. But
it's awful now, but it was funny as hell
back then. Chris Benoit, U.S. champion, MVP. Martel Vontavious Porter, one of the greatest U.S. champions in modern WWE history.
That rivalry with Matt Hardy.
Yeah, the rivalry with Matt Hardy
alone was
made
epic.
the title epic. Yeah, exactly.
The basketball stuff, the races, everything they were trying to do on the side was kind of weak.
But when they got in the ring, I know, I'm going to get there. You cannot talk about U.S. champions in the modern WWE without talking about Miz himself, man.
The most awesome United States champion in history.
But at the end of the day, like all great champions,
we got to do this one more time for your boy because we know he's watching. Awesome!
We came to play.
You know, as much as people don't really get it, he is not over with the fans, like the big fans, like who wear the Cena shirts. Kofi Kingston.
Kofi is a good U.S. champion. Dolph Ziggler is a good U.S. champion right now as we speak. But I was going to get to the man that beat Miz for the U.S. championship,
Bryan Danielson.
Oh, unfortunately they booked him in oblivion when he won. Because his greatest match was a fatal four-way with the belt of Neil Campbell.
You know, I'm gonna like Sheamus because when he got that title,
was a good United States champion. Now, one of the things that I've always wanted to see happen in modern history, and I'm going to catch crap from it, I know from this man, is for a while there, when Regal was still wrestling on a regular basis, and feuding over the U.S. title, I wanted to see him win it and resurrect the European Championship.
You're not going to catch crap from me at all, because I agreed with you when you said that back in the day.
I just know a lot of people give me crap over the European Championship. The belt design and the majority of the lineage of that belt, forget the fact it wasn't defended in Europe, that's an oversight, but the majority of the people that held that belt, in my opinion, made that belt a respectable championship.
Yep, I agree.
And for Regal to win the U.S. title, be full on heel, even go as far as to throw it in a trash can backstage, like they did on WCW.
With the TV title, exactly.
And bring out the European title, modernized of course, because it would have to have the E, be a little bit more popish, you know, stand out, maybe do the U.S. title, but put the Union Jack in the middle of it instead of the red and white stripes.
There you go.
The only time I've ever liked the European Championship was Sean was holding both, throwing the west side and shit, and he was all feeling drunk.
That is what I always wanted to see done with the U.S. title. Vince for not doing it. And now Regal...
He's got a piece of goddamn Vince.
Regal is just, you know, a back burner character now. He's past his prime. He gave that speech in England on one of their last trips when he said, you know, this may be the last time y'all ever see me. And everyone was like, oh crap, he's retired.
He did.
He's wrestled a couple times since then. But usually squashes, usually superstars. I think he was a pro on NXT. I haven't watched it since season 2 because, you know, it sucks since then. But, you know, I'm going to go ahead and put over William Regal as a man.
Gotta agree with that. And with that, I call it. You guys are all. That boy's lost his damn hat already.
Yeah, seriously.
Vegas has it now.
Yeah. He lost it on the strip, baby. He lost it on the strip.
It's over.
Alright, so with that,
you know who we are.
Lady King.
You know who we are. The Luxor Hotel Casino.
Where are you watching?
Where are you? You know, you're talking about this on the drive up. Kanye West, The Game, and Ludacris. Where are you at?
Let us know.
Tell us.
And like us.
Because we like you.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from NoDQ.com.
NoDQ.com.
Welcome, No DQ Galaxy, and we are back with another edition of the No DQ Review, number 30. And I am Virtue here with Aaron Rift, with TJS, and with the Wrestling Trivia Challenge champion, Greg Cherry. All right, Greg, I'll start with you, champ. What's up?
Well, if you guys are watching this on Thursday, I have officially tied Jeff Meacham for all-time longest reigning champion. So 194 days between both of us after I disposed of Mr. Rift there in the last episode. I'm sure he's got to find somebody tough for me this week. But I can now... It makes me wish Jeff was here for this so I could rub it in his face a little bit. But it is what it is.
Yeah, we need some great challengers for you. Meacham was a commendable champion, right? We need another Meacham, right? Because, I don't know. It's weird. I mean, maybe it's just
you got a cherry. You don't need another Meacham.
Well, we need you to have a challenger to put you to the test is what we need. We'll see.
Maybe we'll get one.
TJS, you're here?
Well,
what's up?
I'm doing good. Excited to talk about these topics today. I like all of them, as usual. And should be a good discussion. Aaron, what's going on? The Vince McMahon of No DQ.
Right. Well, first of all, does the world really need a second Jeff Meacham? I'm not sure about that. I think one is enough, with all due respect to Jeff. We love you, Jeff, but there's only room for one Jeff Meacham in this world. Now,
one and only.
I do want to apologize to Jeff for not being successful in my quest to try and beat Greg Cherry. I'm now 0-2 on my own show, whatever. But I do have a challenger for Greg lined up, and I will announce him at the end of this video as a little cliffhanger there for people. I'm doing well. I'm looking forward to the discussion today. This is our Dirty 30 for the No DQ review, and we have a lot to talk about, Virtue, so let's get started.
All right, well, we're going to obviously talk about SummerSlam again and NXT TakeOver, just to get that out of the way and put that to rest. But because last week we didn't do a review show because we did SummerSlam preview, Jim the Anvil Neidhart passed away. And again, it just seems like there's a death of a prominent wrestler. I mean, he was big with the Hart Foundation. Yeah, we know he was just Bret Hart's tag team partner. But, I mean, how awesome was that duo in the late 80s and early 90s? Aaron, you mentioned the demolition match at SummerSlam 90. And it just takes me back to that time when tag team wrestling was awesome. And look at it today. So let's just go around the horn. Any memories? And I know TJS might have been a baby back then. But, you have access to the network, YouTube. So any thoughts on Jim the Anvil Neidhart? And I feel for Natty. I mean, I know she was close to her dad. TJS, what do you think?
Well, it's definitely tragic, and it's very sad. I feel like every time we do these videos, we're talking about the death of a wrestler, and that's sad. You guys mentioned the demolition match from SummerSlam 1990. One of my all-time favorite tag team matches, that one is. And it's like you guys said, tag team wrestling was, it was fun back then. And today, when we hear that we're going to have a tag team match, we just kind of groan. But back then, when you saw the Hart Foundation and Demolition going at it, it was fun to watch. And those guys are going out there giving their all. Unlike today, where I feel like the tag matches, it's like punishment for the viewers. That's what it feels like. And, the Anvil had the laugh. He had the goatee. He was kind of overshadowed by Bret and the rest of the Hart Foundation. But he definitely had the charisma. And he was definitely one of a kind. It's very sad to hear about his death. And my condolences to Natty, TJ, and the Hart family. Aaron.
Very well said, TJS. I'm just sad about the whole situation. The fact that he has not been able to go into the Hall of Fame yet. I think the Hart Foundation, Bret and the Anvil, and even the Hart Foundation as a group, it would have been nice to see him go in when he was still alive. And I feel like we say this a lot with these wrestlers. I believe Bret was even pushing for it because he knew Jim was dealing with health issues and he was having seizures and other things going on. So I think Bret really made the push for it. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. And they'll do it next year, but it will not have quite the same impact that it would have had if he had been inducted when he was still alive. Greg, any other thoughts you have on Jim Neidhart?
I know we brought up the SummerSlam 1990 match quite a bit, and, for good reason. It's probably, it was a 2 out of 3 falls match, and it was such a great contest. You were rooting for the Hart Foundation the entire way because of the 3-on-2 that Demolition had with
Axe Smash and Crush, and then LOD came out at the end. It was such a great moment to see the Hart Foundation win the tag team titles in that manner. And, you know, we talk a lot about how Neidhart was overshadowed, but I don't think he was, because there were very few people, if any, that could match the intensity of a Jim Neidhart promo. And his sadistic laugh, which Natty used for a while when she first came onto the roster, I mean, it's iconic, really.
Hey, Greg, was it Jim and Owen? Was that the new foundation? Was it those two?
Yeah, that was the.
Yeah, because I know Owen and Coco were high energy, so even then, after the Hart Foundation, they found a way to still make tag teams. And rest in peace, Neidhart, because you were one of the best. All right, well, SummerSlam. Last recaps and thoughts, and NXT TakeOver Brooklyn was at 4.
Yeah.
Gosh, already. So let's go around the horn and your most memorable takes for both shows. For NXT TakeOver, obviously we had Ricochet became the North American champion. Fantastic match. I know EC3 got hurt a little. I'm not sure exactly when that happened in the match, but that some people said that maybe slowed down that match a little bit. Velveteen Dream is an absolute star, and I don't know what real heat he's getting for those tights. That's the stuff I want more of like that. To me, that was fantastic. And of course, Gargano and Ciampa, I mean, they could really feud forever, right? So, Greg, final thoughts on this past weekend in Brooklyn.
This weekend was fantastic. I think it was very comparable to the Royal Rumble weekend in Philadelphia, because that TakeOver and the Rumble were both solid shows. Mustache Mountain and Undisputed Era tore it up for the tag team championships for NXT. I mean, that was a fantastic match from beginning to end. SummerSlam was a solid show as well. I thought the SmackDown Women's Championship was well done. And I'm sure we'll get into the Becky Lynch turn at some point. I believe I predicted that on the B Team prediction show. I'm trying to think of what else was memorable about SummerSlam. You had Demon Balor come out. That was not completely expected, but a little bit expected, but it was still cool to see. And we have a new Universal Champion. The Universal Championship is finally back on Raw full time, so I'm sure we'll get into that as well. Aaron?
I thought the match of the weekend was Adam Cole and Ricochet. That match was amazing, and I thought Ricochet winning the title was a cool moment. As far as SummerSlam goes, I thought it was, looking back after a few days, I think it was a very middle-of-the-road SummerSlam. Pretty average, a few good moments, a few not-so-good moments, and just too much as far as the pay-per-view goes. I've said this before, it's like a broken record. I wish the shows were shorter. If you took SummerSlam and just made it a 3-hour pay-per-view, and you had the best moments of SummerSlam condensed down into 3 hours, then it would have been a pretty good show. But watching a 6+ hour show, yeah, it definitely dragged. TJS, your thoughts overall on the weekend?
Well, I'm just going to go on record now and say that I enjoyed SummerSlam more than I did TakeOver, which is, it's shocking. I was going into SummerSlam with, low expectations. And, I was happy with it from start to finish, except with the kickoff, of course. I wasn't bored with any of the matches, and there were a lot of squash matches, but I thought that was a good change of pace because that helped the show not drag. They were better transitions because we talked about how Ronda, how Alexa was not a believable challenger for Ronda. She got squashed. The squash match with Corbin, it was necessary because Corbin was surprised that Finn was a demon, and it finally gave Balor some more credibility until Raw. But, I thought it was great. Was it too long? Yeah. I'm trying to get my girlfriend into wrestling, and she's on vacation, and she was like, she said, are we going to watch SummerSlam?
You trying to break up with her?
Well, no, but she said that she wanted to watch SummerSlam, and I said, it's 6 hours, and she's like, whoa, really? I was like, yeah, and she's like, maybe we can watch the highlights. But yeah, I agree with Aaron about the match of the weekend being Cole versus Ricochet. Crazy stuff. And that super kick moonsault spot or the lion salt spot is going to be talked about for years to come. In my opinion, better than the Shelton Benjamin Shawn Michaels spot. Virtue, what do you think?
All right, so to a point, I understand what you're saying with you like SummerSlam a little bit better than TakeOver. We go in every TakeOver, and we know it's going to be an A minus, or a B plus show. And every week or every event, it is, right? Depending on exactly what happens. Going into SummerSlam, you're expecting, I don't like the build, I don't like the matches. So I can see what you're saying. Going in, you knew NXT was going to be its normal good self with great wrestling matches. In SummerSlam, you probably went in, with a little hesitation, a little disappointment?
Definitely.
And so I see exactly what you're saying there. Aaron, when you kind of say SummerSlam's a middle-of-the-road show, this is the problem with the main roster shows. Like you said, they are too long. I remember all the old pay-per-views. You go back to the In Your Houses, anything like that, and there was always a lot of filler at these shows, and you could pick out a lot of crap. But what I always remembered a pay-per-view for the 3 or 4, maybe not that many, to say 2 or 3 really good things that happened or memorable things that happened in it, and that's how I determined if I liked it or not. I actually, just like I did Money in the Bank weekend, Aaron, when we were in Chicago, I gave NXT and Money in the Bank the same grade, A minus. I'm doing the same thing again this weekend. I enjoyed both shows differently. And again, I go into NXT, the bar is higher now. I know it's going to be that good with the wrestling matches. To get up to an A or A plus show, I want more. I mean, I'm getting desensitized. And it's a great show. Don't give me heat in the comments. I just put over NXT TakeOver, but I enjoyed SummerSlam. Now, I may be biased because I got some results that I really wanted. Charlotte winning, Roman winning, and I have fun with that on social media. But it was a weekend. Other than watching too much wrestling, I enjoyed both shows, and I can't pick one over the other right now. Maybe I will. Give me another week. Maybe I'll watch TakeOver matches again, look at some more fine detail on that. But, I mean, any thoughts on me liking both shows the same?
Okay, so a year from now, what are you going to go back and watch from this year's SummerSlam?
Lesnar versus
Roman.
Why?
Yeah, Lesnar versus Reigns.
Why?
Because it was memorable. You had the big.
Because we're going to talk about this in a topic because of what Vince McMahon did. I might look behind the curtain more than a normal fan, and I would rather the business side of things appeals to me, them doing what they want to do versus what the fans want them to do. I get it. I understand that the fans buy the product, right? But if it was so bad, like you said, Aaron, they'd walk out. They'd stop showing up. But just there's people that can't not do that. They have to be there. And now Vince is finding ways to manipulate them. But look at SummerSlam. Corbin got squashed. For how long since we saw the Demon last? When you first saw the lights flicker, the red, were you not like, whoa, it's happening? We didn't even think that it was going to happen anytime soon.
Right.
It's the little moments like that. Becky turning. We've been talking about that for weeks, for months. And again, is she heel? We'll talk about that later or not. Is Charlotte the heel? But it happened. She did something different. Those are the moments, Aaron, that I take away. Now, granted, 6 or 7 hours, I said I'm exhausted. I got an earache, but I loved it. Maybe I'm a WWE fan stooge.
So if Finn Balor,
I don't care.
If Finn Balor appears once a year as the Demon, just completely randomly, that elevates a show and makes it an A minus.
Sure, why not? Seth Rollins had a fantastic match with
Is it
Dolph
that
Ziggler.
easy? He just has to put on the paint and the show gets an A
AJ
minus.
Styles
Aaron.
and Joe have built some heat. We didn't get a great finish technically, but you can't. We can nitpick all day long, right? I've given shows this year C's, but I'm not going to always hate. I'm going to find things I like, and when I find a handful of things I like on a show, which I did for SummerSlam, I'm going to put it up.
So if you're giving it an A minus, are you saying it's like a top 5 SummerSlam of all time?
But
if you ranked all 31 SummerSlams, where would this one fall?
There's a lot of SummerSlams and a lot I'd have to go back and rewatch, but
yeah. So can you really say honestly an A minus is appropriate?
I could give 4 or 5 other SummerSlams an A plus and an A. Those are higher than A minuses. But
still,
Roman won the Universal title.
If you're giving it an A minus, that's basically saying it's like the top 5 SummerSlams.
Who's the biggest Roman guy on NoDQ.com? Who started liking him before people said that I did it just
but the
to get a
problem
reaction.
is he beat Lesnar because Lesnar was distracted by Strowman. So Reigns did not even get over by beating Lesnar, and Strowman comes out there and
Everybody talks about Roman every day. He's over.
He says he wants to confront the guys face to face, and then he just stands out there and lets the two of them fight, and then Reigns wins, and then Strowman's just knocked out.
You gave it a mediocre grade because Roman ended up the Universal Champion. Strowman didn't cash in.
It was just the way it was executed.
My opinion of your opinion.
If Reigns is going to beat Lesnar, he should just beat him clean. No need to have the Strowman.
Could, but they always protect Brock in a weird kind of way because he's the UFC guy. Any thoughts?
And there's no point because he's gone now. Reigns should have beat him.
Gone, but it's Brock Lesnar, and he could come back one day, and Vince pays him all kinds of money not to work. Any thoughts on how WWE has constantly protected Brock?
Yeah,
Greg?
It's stupid.
It's protecting your investment.
Whatever.
But he's not is he a draw? Do you guys think he's a draw?
Well, apparently he's a ratings draw. And
yeah, he is.
He is. I mean, look at this way. UFC, I know this is a completely different topic, but UFC's buy rates have gone down. And the most social media buzz they had was Lesnar stepping into the octagon with Cormier. And that generated, holy crap, Lesnar's back in the UFC while he's part of WWE. And even if he's not part of WWE right now, they're still going to build to a Lesnar-Cormier fight, and that's going to draw a huge buy rate. UFC's biggest draw is Brock Lesnar. It's not Conor McGregor anymore, if he's even associated with that, but that's a completely different sport.
But Aaron, isn't this about having our own opinions? And I like something you might not like. You might think something's mediocre. I really like it. And look, it's not like it's a secret that I'm Mr. Pro Roman Reigns on NoDQ.com for various things. Like I said, if I was actually in the business working with WWE, and I was a writer, we'll just say that's the program I'd want to work on, right? Doing whatever it can to make Roman more appealing to the masses.
Right, but would you do it by would you do it by having him beat the guy just because the guy was distracted? Would you do it that way?
Baby steps. But we're going to talk about that whole topic, by the way, and the way they use Braun Strowman. So any last thoughts? And then we'll move on from SummerSlam.
We'll keep it going.
All right, so next topic, Aaron Rift. Braun Strowman, Money in the Bank. Monster in the Bank. The cash-in teases at SummerSlam and Raw. You said it before any of us said it because you did the No DQ Live. Vince McMahon was pulling the puppet strings in front of that Brooklyn crowd. So everybody's thoughts on, and I'm going to start with you, Aaron Rift, on how Vince McMahon, and it could have been other people. It could have been Triple H. Who knows exactly who orchestrated that masterful plan with Braun being out there to keep the fans somewhat invested into hijacking. Take it away, because, I mean, this was a big deal. To me, Vince fooled everybody there.
Oh, he absolutely did, and I knew something like this was coming, too, and people didn't want to listen to me. The idea was they wanted Reigns to win the title, but they didn't want the fans to hijack the match, and they didn't want the pay-per-view to go off the air with everybody booing and people leaving the building, so they orchestrated this master plan, this bait and switch, and let's face it, that's what it was. It was a bait and switch with Braun Strowman out there teasing the Money in the Bank cash-in and then not delivering. And I even said on the predictions, I said it would not shock me if the pay-per-view just ended with Reigns as the champion and no cash-in. And that's exactly what happened. To me, it's not good storytelling when you're that desperate to have to manipulate your audience. To me, it's not good TV writing. And yeah, maybe it's entertaining to some of us just because it's funny to see how far WWE will take this to try and get Reigns cheered. But man, I wish they would just come up with some good storytelling to organically get Roman Reigns over with the audience. I think that would be a lot more entertaining, and that's part of the reason why I don't give the show an A- rating. TJS, your thoughts on it?
Well, you have a guy that flipped an ambulance, got thrown in a garbage truck, pulled down the Raw set with a grappling hook, the whole 9 yards, a complete monster. Reminded me of 97, 98 Kane. And then you have him unconscious, beat up after an F5, a suicide dive, and a few chair shots.
But isn't Roman and Brock the main event? Those two guys are supposed to be the guys. They're the ones that took out Strowman. Believable to me. Sorry. Get it, though? You see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
I know. I see where you're coming from, right? Braun's supposed to be unstoppable, but at least they didn't have Owens do it. Could you imagine if they had Owens made him vulnerable? But it was Roman and Brock and their match and their spot that made Braun vulnerable. So I bought it.
Here's the thing. WWE should not get a pass because of this bait and switch, because WCW did the same thing and people crapped on it, and WCW no longer exists. WWE's doing the bait and switch, and it sucks just as much as when WCW did it. That's as far as I'm concerned.
You know, I will say
$80 stock, bro. $80 stock.
And that just goes to show it's a different industry that we're in right now. The same rules don't apply as 20 years ago. It doesn't matter what WWE does ultimately. They can get away with just about anything.
Aaron, when you heard Braun's music before the match, did you pop?
I did, but I was hoping he was going to come out and make it a triple threat. And
triple threat, yeah, that's what I was hoping for.
When he started with the promo and he's like, I don't want to attack a guy from behind, I thought, this is awesome. He's going to actually call out both of these guys and say he's going to kick both of their asses, and they're going to have Strowman win the title, and he's going to be the guy, and it's going to be amazing. And then he says, oh, I'm going to wait till the match is over. And I'm like, for real? Are you kidding me?
Knew that's something.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I'm kind of worried that this is going to lead to a Braun heel turn where he says, I'm not going to, sneak up on anyone, and that's going to be his last resort, which is ridiculous considering the guy is supposed to be a monster. He shouldn't have to sneak up to get the win. I don't get it.
Right, yeah. I was with him till he said he was going to just wait until the match was over, because it's basically the same thing. It's not really any different than just coming out after the match with no notice, because they're supposed to know in the back of their minds that he can show up at any time anyways. So it doesn't really make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Greg, what did you think?
I'm going to say this right now. I don't care for the Money in the Bank cash-in teases. If you're going to cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase, just do it. There's no need, especially Carmella. Carmella with hers, she teased cashing in about 17,543 times, and it eventually did cash in on Charlotte. But why? Just cash in the briefcase. Edge didn't tease it, I don't think, his first run at all until he actually cashed it in. But all of a sudden, I think starting with like Del Rio and people, it's like, okay, we're going to tease this cash in as much as we can before it actually happens. Just cash in the briefcase. Like, make it a moment, because you kind of kill the moment if you tease it so much. So I didn't care for it, but that's just me.
There you go. I'm with you on
All
that.
right.
They do the cheap pop. That's it.
They do. Now, let's parlay this over to Monday Night Raw, and at the end. So Roman Reigns is obviously the one that he comes out, I'm a fighting champion. They're really trying to make him look so much better than Lesnar. He's the one that allows Finn Balor to finally get his rematch. Imagine that, so the people will rejoice. So, of course, I thought that was cool. Maybe he'll give Owens a rematch next. So that main event happens. No Demon. Crazy, I know, right, Aaron? Bring the Demon back. Maybe it's because the Demon comes out when he's bullied. I don't know.
Well, the real reason is that it takes several hours to put on the paint, so he cannot. He doesn't have the mystical powers to apply the paint in 2 hours. So moment ruined.
So we have the main event going on, and Strowman comes out. Greg, another tease. But this tease was enough to distract Finn, so Roman could beat him. 1, 2, 3. And then it looks like the cash-in is going to happen after the match. The Shield come out and reunite. So here we are. Now, go back to Survivor Series time when we had the Shield. We know Roman got sick with meningitis. Ambrose got hurt sometime later. I don't know if it was right around the same time, right?
Yeah.
They didn't really have a full reunion. T-shirts. Vince, he likes to bring – DX came back a couple times. He likes to resell that merchandise, that product. Here we are again, and there's some interesting possibilities, in my opinion, now with the Shield back together. And are they the heels, or is Strowman the heel? So, TJS, I'm going to start with you. What are your thoughts, man, with this whole scenario? The Shield's back.
Yeah. Let me just say about the whole Finn Balor Demon thing. WWE just needed to give us one reason, anything. And I read something where they could have just said that since Finn Balor was the demon less than 24 hours ago, his body can't channel the energy. They could have said anything just to give us some storyline reason why he wasn't the demon. Anyway, I digress. With the whole Shield thing, it was a cliffhanger, which is something that we can't really say in Raw history lately. I'm not sure who the heels are because, as Aaron pointed out on NoDQ Live, you had the cash-in or the failed cash-in on the beat-down Roman Reigns, and he even booted Roman Reigns before Reigns could get up, which makes him seem heelish. But then you had the 3-on-1 beatdown, like Aaron said. I don't know. I'm really scratching my head, but I don't know if I would be okay with the Shield heel turn at this point because Seth Rollins is so hot as a babyface. I don't know. I think that if Braun Strowman needs an ally, what if he finally decides to make Kevin Owens his friend and brings along Bray Wyatt too? How about that? A babyface Owens, Bray Wyatt, and Braun. They'll be relevant, and that's a big match. You got 3 big stars versus 3 big stars. Aaron?
Well, I actually think it's very likely going to be Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper reuniting the Wyatt family, like Virtue said on his video the other day, because that is a match that people remember very fondly. I mean, there's something, I talked about earlier. What are you going to remember a year or 2 or 3 years down the line? And to this day, people still talk about that Elimination Chamber match, the Wyatt family versus the Shield. And they're doing something with the Shield at the Super Showdown. Bray Wyatt doesn't have a tag team partner. Luke Harper doesn't have a tag team partner. I think the timing is right for a brand new match between these guys at the Super Showdown. And it just seems like all the stars are aligning for that to happen. We'll see if WWE actually goes through with it or not. And regarding Finn Balor, I just wanted to add, he also could have told Roman, you know what? How about we wait 1 week? I need 1 week because if you really want a challenge, you'll face the Demon. Just something like that to set up the Demon. Yeah, like
shoot, that could have, to me, Hell in a Cell.
Yeah,
that would have been fantastic.
Yeah, Balor could say, you know what? Instead of facing me tonight, instead of facing Fonz Balor on Raw, how about you face Demon Balor at Hell in a Cell? That would have made sense. But of course, they can't do that because WWE just wanted to have a guy face Reigns so Reigns could beat him, and WWE could book the storyline that Roman Reigns is a fighting champion, and Finn Balor now fans can shut up about it. He got his title opportunity. He blew it. And actually, it was Reigns that was about to win when Strowman came out. So Reigns was the one that was distracted, not Balor. Yet Balor still could not beat Reigns despite the distraction. So there you go. Balor's back to doing whatever he's going to do with Elias or any random guy on Monday Night Raw. Maybe it'll be Owens versus Balor at this point. Who knows? But Greg, your thoughts on the whole situation?
I think they gave us that match just so we could shut up about Balor not getting his Universal title rematch. And if they were going to give him the shot at Hell in a Cell, then they would build towards that. But clearly they want to go the route of Strowman versus Reigns, which is weird for the sole reason is Braun has the Money in the Bank briefcase. So if they want to actually build to a championship match, then you would think the logical explanation would be Strowman cashes in on Reigns so they can fight over the title. It makes no sense to me personally why they would have the Money in the Bank briefcase holder get a title shot without cashing in the briefcase. I'm not saying it hasn't happened before, but it seems a little weird to me that this is the route they're going, unless they really want fans to get behind Strowman. I'm not sure who's the heel and who's the face in this situation, and we'll get into this with Becky and Charlotte too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And I'll give more thoughts on that later. But I guess it's good that they're getting us talking about it because then we want to see what happens next week on Raw.
Yeah, I mean, like TJ has said, this is the first good cliffhanger we've had in a while for Monday Night Raw, and Virtue, what do you think? Do you think they're just going to do shades of gray with these guys and let the fans choose who they're going to cheer for?
It seems like that's what they do. I'm going to need to see. Like, imagine me saying WWE Raw is going to make me need to see exactly how this goes down. Like, who's going to – is Strowman going to – I don't think Strowman's going to reach out for help. I think people will just show up to help him. I think because that'll keep Strowman – yeah. That'll keep Strowman protected. With Matt Hardy being basically retired and Rowan probably going to need surgery. Aaron, like we said, Bray and Luke, that's the perfect opportunity, except this time around, instead of Bray being the cult leader, really Strowman is that main event star with the other two guys next to him. And everybody knows when the Shield and the Wyatts stare at each other across the ring, people get excited. Despite Roman Reigns, people get excited, and WWE likes to revisit things, and that's what's going to happen. A great feud of 2017, Roman versus Strowman. It's going to happen again, probably. Interestingly, the New Day are the tag team champions again. Bludgeon Brothers will be gone. Will the Usos come back into play with the New Day? They're revisiting some great feuds from a year ago, in my opinion, so, or potentially. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, but for now, it's like it's going to be either Cesaro and Sheamus or Anderson and Gallows facing them next. Hopefully, the Usos do get back in the mix soon, though.
The Usos should be on TV. I haven't really seen them on there often. So anyway,
they need to go heel again.
Join the Shield, make the Shield bigger. All right, so we're getting off topic here. Let's talk about Ronda Rousey. She squashed Alexa Bliss. Now, in reality, somebody like Ronda versus Bliss, it should be a squash. Ronda won pretty much all of her fights before she finally lost a couple by pretty much squash fashion. So it plays to that Ronda Rousey character. Bliss, always the heel, always the little runt, lucked her way into some wins, was calculating, manipulative. But in this situation, I just found it a little hard to believe that she didn't have at least something in the tank to try to trick Rousey early. I want to know everyone's thoughts. Should this have been the squash? Or do you think they should have protected Alexa a little bit to make her, even if the ref was distracted and Alicia Fox hit Ronda with a chair to start the match just so Ronda was reeling, just something like that, and then have Ronda power back to make the win. Greg, I'm going to start with you. And what's next for Rousey?
I actually like the fact that it was a squash. This match actually made sense to me to be the squash. Even as great of a champion as Alexa is, physically, let's face it, she was no match for Ronda Rousey. I mean, yes, she beat Nia Jax, who's like 6'2", 270, or whatever she is. But, suspension of disbelief. Is it still a thing? I think Ronda beating Alexa Bliss made a lot of sense. And the crowd gets behind Rousey for the reason that, A, she actually cares about the professional wrestling business, unlike Lesnar, and she's put on great matches so far. So the crowd's gotten behind Rousey organically because of that. As far as what's next for her, I kind of worry that they're going to build to Evolution, making it Ronda Rousey versus Stephanie McMahon for the Raw Women's Championship. I know there was teases of Nikki Bella, which made no sense to me at all. Why would you even do that? But if they go Rousey Steph, I mean, they could put on a good match too. I don't know what route they're going, but if we're basing it off a Raw segment, that's probably the direction they're going to go, just to give Rousey something to do for Evolution.
Right. All right, TJS, man. Oh, Greg, real quick, why not Sasha Banks? I know, because she's in a program with Bayley.
Don't even get me started on how they're booking Sasha Banks.
Could you imagine Sasha versus Rousey at Evolution, though?
I think it should be Sasha versus Trish. That's something else I'm upset about. Why does Alexa get the match? It should be Sasha Banks versus Trish Stratus. We got that tease at the Royal Rumble, and it was a dream scenario for me because I was hoping that the two of them would face off. I was hoping they would get a one-on-one match against each other at Evolution, but it's not to be.
Well, we'll come back to that, Trish versus Bliss in a minute. TJS, your thoughts?
Well, like you said, Virtue, I think that Alexa Bliss should have had a plan here because she's billed as like this genius champion who always – she's basically a heel underdog, which is unusual, but I think it worked. But she knew about this match because Ronda got suspended for 30 days. So she's had this whole time to come up with a plan, and then when the bell rings, she just gets her ass kicked. Like, she had nothing, no plan at all. There could have been something, like you said, Alicia Fox distracting the ref, Alexa having like some brass knuckles or something, even though that was done already on the show. Anything would have worked. Play Shayna Baszler's music to distract Ronda and roll her up. Just do something besides just getting Alexa squashed, because that makes her not only look dumb, because she hasn't planned for, all this time since Rousey's been suspended, but it makes her look weak. And I know it's Ronda Rousey, but it's a different game, UFC and wrestling. Like Alexa Bliss has put it, she called Ronda an overhyped rookie. Ronda is a rookie, and she just beat the 5-time women's champion in less than 5 minutes. I don't know about it. Aaron?
See, I agree with Greg. I think it was fine. I mean, Alexa should have been booked stronger as the champion going into the match. That's the first problem. And since Alexa was booked so poorly leading up to the match, I was fine with what they ultimately did. Alexa really had no business being the champion if she wasn't going to be booked like a champion. And I feel like you just got to move on here. And with Alexa's character, I could see her character being overconfident and cocky and not putting in the time to prepare for this match, feeling she'll just beat her really easily because she's overconfident like that, and that's the way a heel would act. So I thought it was fine. I thought of the squash matches on the show, that one was definitely fitting for that situation. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. As far as Ronda's future opponents go, that's the problem right now. You really don't have a lot of credible challengers for her. You could have done Asuka versus Rousey, but Asuka's barely getting TV time now.
I know. That'd be my call, but I mean, somebody doesn't like Asuka.
Yeah, and obviously Sasha Banks is doing the stuff with Bayley right now. Who do you have go against her? Part of me wanted to maybe see some kind of storyline. Like, I thought maybe the Bella Twins were going to interfere in that match, and maybe we were going to see all the women attack Rousey and have them all go heel on her, basically saying, we don't want you here in WWE, and do some storyline like that where everybody's against Rousey, and you have this storyline where Rousey has to get her horsewomen friends to watch her back against the other WWE women. But maybe we'll still get something like that coming up.
Way too much.
And Aaron, I wouldn't be surprised over the course of the next several Raws if they finally turn Natty, or however they want to do that. Maybe Natty can be Ronda's opponent for Evolution. Who knows?
I think that should be the Evolution match, not with Natalya as a heel, but doing a match in tribute, kind of like Bret Hart and Chris Benoit from Nitro, do a tribute to Jim Neidhart. Ronda will win, of course, and then after that, you can start the build towards them feuding, and maybe have that go into the Royal Rumble, and then start building for WrestleMania, which I assume is going to be... Now, somebody else mentioned this, and I totally just forgot about it, but if it's going to be Charlotte versus Rousey at WrestleMania, champion versus champion, what does that mean for the Royal Rumble winner? I have no idea. Maybe they'll come up with something. I don't know, but I think Charlotte and Rousey is going to be the WrestleMania main event. To me, that's the match that makes the most sense. What do you think, Virtue?
Yeah, I mean, again, we know about talking about WrestleMania ahead of time, and we basically last year talked about Roman's going to get the shot against Brock, and he did, but then he never won. So I guess that's neither here nor there yet. But Aaron, I see it because I was at WrestleMania last year, this year, and Charlotte had the Ric Flair entrance. Her and Rousey going on last. If they finally decide to do that at a Mania and have women go on last, there can be no other match.
Right.
No other women's match. That has to be it. So.
Right, exactly.
Greg?
See, I'm thinking back to Survivor Series last year when they were doing Raw people versus SmackDown people. And they did Raw tag teams against SmackDown tag teams. They did Universal Champion against WWE Champion, and Raw Women's Champion versus SmackDown Women's Champion. Who are the champions right now? Rousey and Charlotte. Do you think they're going to, for lack of a better term, blow their wad on Survivor Series with these two instead of saving it for WrestleMania?
Well, I think they're gonna do the horsewomen match at Survivor Series, and Charlotte will captain her team and Rousey will captain her team. Maybe they'll tease something with them actually fighting in the ring. Maybe they'll be kept separate. Who knows? But I think they're going to do that match.
Here's my problem with that. Becky just turned on Charlotte. Why would you want to team up with Charlotte in a couple months?
Somebody else is going to have to represent the Charlotte team instead of Becky.
But then it's not the four horsewomen against the four horsewomen.
Well,
you can't do it then.
The horseman lineup always changed back in the day. It was never the same four guys.
Also, no one really knows who the four MMA horsewomen are other than Rousey. The casuals don't know Baszler. Right. They don't know the rest of them. So, I mean, that would be a tough match to do, I think.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Ronda and the four horsewomen of WWE would really be the only ones that people know. So I don't know. I don't know if they're going to do that match at Survivor Series or not. It would be better to me if they did Charlotte versus Rousey at Survivor Series and then took the months building up to WrestleMania for the 4-on-4. I know it's kind of backwards, and at WrestleMania you want the big one-on-one, but I feel like it would take some time to establish the 4 MMA horsewomen.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very valid point, and I've talked about this, the idea that we need some time to establish the other characters, and even Shayna Baszler hasn't been introduced to the casual audience yet, so that might be a tough sell for Survivor Series, but we'll see if they do it. I mean, it's definitely something that's being rumored right now. I don't know what's going to happen. There's a lot of different possibilities.
And you got to remember, if Vince is going to bump Roman Reigns out of his 5th consecutive main event at Mania for 2 women, it's going to take a lot of convincing, probably with Triple H to Vince McMahon. So we're going to be talking about that more, I'm sure, going forward. Yeah. All right, so Greg, you brought this up earlier. Alexa Bliss was announced for Evolution. When? October 28th? To go against the return of Trish Stratus. Now, the only thing I can think of for this is maybe Alexa now has parlayed into this good little hand. And that means she's going to be a heel that jobs a lot, like The Miz had that stretch. So, TJS, I want to start with you. Do you think this is the right call for Trish, or do you think it should have been somebody else, and why?
Well, I think that Alexa Bliss is the Roman Reigns of the women's division, and I think Ronda is Brock, so Alexa, Roman, couldn't beat Brock, who is Ronda, and now we have Trish versus Alexa, and Trish is The Undertaker. So what they're basically doing is they're going to have Alexa go over Trish to look more credible since she just got squashed to Rousey. That's what I think. Not a whole lot I could say about it. I think it should be a good match, though. I think Trish should come back like part-time because, I mean, she looks good. So, Aaron.
Well, I have no idea what I want to say as far as a prediction goes for that match because I think it's too soon and Trish hasn't even returned to television yet. I'm curious to see if she shows up on Raw this Monday, which is in Toronto, by the way. I think depending on what happens with Trish, they still got, what is it, like 6 weeks, if not more, 2 months?
I'd like to see a program, Aaron. I'd like to see Trish show up and build to something instead of just having her show up for the match.
Oh, I agree. They definitely should have her show up and do a slow build-up towards the match at Evolution rather than just randomly throw a match together. I think it was pretty disappointing, in fact, just announcing the match on Twitter instead of...
Especially before Alexa lost the title. That really spoiled it.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that gave away, that she wasn't going to be retaining the title at SummerSlam. Greg, your thoughts?
Yeah, I said it earlier in this video. I think it should have been Trish versus Sasha. Because we had the tease at the Rumble, and the crowd popped for it, especially when Trish mocked Sasha's entrance with the hands. Everybody popped for that. I think that would have been a fantastic match. I don't know how far Trish can go as far as in the ring, but we've seen what Sasha can do. She's been in 2 Iron Man matches now, and I think that match would have been an absolute classic. So, not saying Alexa won't deliver because I think she's a little bit underrated, but TJS, I don't think I've heard comparisons like that since somebody compared the Shield to the Backstreet Boys this week on Twitter. So,
Alexa Bliss is hardly. She doesn't lose very much if you think about it. Alexa Bliss, and she's spent much of her time on the main roster as a champion. She was the first woman to win the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championship, and every time that if you turn on a Raw, you're probably going to see Alexa as the champion, or you turn on a random SmackDown from this year, or last year, or any time since 2016, Alexa will probably be the champion. So. I just feel like I don't think she's underrated. I don't think she's bad, but I just think that she hardly loses, and she's booked kind of like as the Roman of the women's division, like I said.
Well, we have a lot to get through. We have the Super Show Down Under, whatever, the Showdown, right, in Australia. We have Hell in a Cell. What else is before Evolution? Is there another show, Aaron, in October?
No, just those 2.
But nonetheless, we still got to get through those. before we start hyping and talking about Evolution. We'll see. Maybe card subject to change, right?
Yep.
All right, so the general manager on Raw, as of right now, Kurt Angle's on vacation. Maybe a much-needed vacation. I don't know if something's really personal, he needs time off, or if this is a storyline, but Constable Corbin, is now the acting general manager. It's around the horn really quick. What are your thoughts on this? And he just got squashed by the Demon. So, Greg, I'm going to start with you. Do you think that Corbin is going to continue to torment Finn Balor, especially now with the extra power?
I don't think it's going to be specifically Finn Balor. I think Raw just needed, not that they needed a heel authority figure, because they haven't had a heel authority figure aside from Stephanie for a long time. So this is probably just to freshen things up. I don't see this being anything longer than maybe a couple month thing, because he's just acting general manager. And this may lead to Kurt Angle returning to the ring again, maybe to face Corbin for the general managership.
There you go.
So I think it's just a temporary thing. I still like Corbin. I'm still a Corbin guy. You know, pour in the comments. You know, a lot of people don't like Corbin, but screw you. I like him.
I like him in this role. I do.
I do too. You know, the haircut works for him. He's still the same guy in the ring. He won a match with the Deep Six, which is still a sweet move, and the End of Days is a sweet move too. Still my favorite finisher. So I'm a Corbin guy. I like him. I think he's doing really well in this role. He's getting real heat, so good for him. I like Corbin in this role.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like Corbin in the role, and I think it's a good change, because Kurt Angle, as much as we all love the guy, he has gotten a bit stale as general manager, and I think it's time to shake things up. I'm assuming he's going to be getting back in the ring at some point. He'll be doing another match. Him versus Corbin seems to make sense, although I'd rather see Angle against somebody else than Corbin, but that's just me personally. I think it'll be interesting to see how this plays out and see if Angle comes back or if Corbin just becomes the permanent general manager for a while. We'll have to wait and see what happens on that. TJS, any thoughts you have on it?
Well, I think that it's okay that Baron got squashed at SummerSlam, because he's not really in the full-time wrestler role anymore. And I know you've talked about this, Aaron. He's just the authority figure, so he can lose. And I think that you guys talked about Baron torturing Finn. I hope the feud is over, but I wouldn't mind a couple, make Balor wrestle a few times in one night to establish him some more, or to get his credibility going. Instead of like being the mid-card geek, you can have Finn Balor overcome some adversity instead of just having the Elias segments or whatever. And you could get Corbin heat by putting Finn in those matches. So, I mean, we'll see what happens, but I think it's Survivor Series will end up being Corbin versus Angle for the general manager role.
All righty. Well, and you know what? Change is good, so let's see what Corbin can do without being there to torment Kurt Angle. He's going to be GM on his own for the foreseeable future. Main event time. We're going to go to SmackDown. Aaron's favorite show of the two, right? Between Raw and SmackDown?
Well, who disagrees with me?
To me, I just, whatever. It's 5 hours of wrestling in 2 days. Becky Lynch's promo. Everybody knows I love talking about promos. And she, first of all, turned heel. Well, she got upset about losing at SummerSlam and attacked Charlotte after the match. Crowd was cheering that, which is what the crowd does. Charlotte wins another title, supposed to be the baby face. Again, it's shades of gray, Aaron. It's confusing these days. The smarks like us and them and the Roman haters and the Charlotte haters, they make it confusing. But Becky cut a hell of a promo on SmackDown. This is what I'm talking about, with giving a wrestler a microphone and letting them semi-shoot, right where it doesn't feel scripted. And I thought it was fantastic. But what sucks to me is I know she's supposed to come across as a heel. That's what they wanted to be. But the fans are going to cheer her. And I just feel that WWE will think, you're not doing a good enough job. And she'll just job out to Charlotte, feud over. Please tell me I'm wrong. Please tell me. Who's, first of all, Greg, I want to start with you. Who is she, a heel or a face? Or is this just more shades of gray like Aaron says?
I don't think the heel-face dynamic of even like 10, 15 years ago exists anymore. Because really the crowd cheers and boos whoever they want to boo. NXT, it might be a little different because the crowd cheers Johnny Gargano and they boo the crap out of Tommaso Ciampa. I mean, that's very clearly established. It's harder to do on the main roster because people cheer for whoever they want. So trying to make Becky a heel in this situation, we might not agree with, but let's face it, if she's getting more television time and getting more opportunities, who are we to judge? If they want to try and force the heel thing, you know, they can try, but chances are we're going to cheer Becky because she's so freaking likable. Like, we could relate to her beating up Charlotte because of frustration. Like, that it happens. It's human nature.
Right.
It's not necessarily a heel thing to beat up somebody because we're frustrated.
So your Ciampa Gargano that you brought up, that I'm a firm believer that the fans, the NXT universe, they like both Gargano and Ciampa, but they like them so much they're playing along to get the characters over the way they're supposed to be. Right. But they won't do it on the main roster. And you know what I mean? Okay, so I'm not all right. So you see that too? Thanks.
Yeah. Well, think about it. They've been cheering Kevin Owens since he debuted on the main roster 3 years ago, and Owens has been a heel virtually his entire time in WWE. Sans his match against CJ Parker. Like, you know, he's been a heel the entire time he's been with the company.
TJS, your thoughts?
Well, I just want to know how we are expected to dislike Becky Lynch because she's been overlooked since the NXT days when the other three horsewomen were NXT champion, but she wasn't. I know that she was the first SmackDown draft pick, but I mean, she won the title and lost it and then won it again and lost it. Ever since then, she's been an afterthought. And you've had Charlotte Flair out in the spotlight. You've had Sasha and Bayley in the spotlight. And Becky's just been shafted all this time. Becky has lost and lost and lost. And then when she finally has worked her way up and she's earned her title opportunity, you have Charlotte Flair, who, you know, you could argue that people could say that her last name is the reason that she's getting in these big matches and they want to make her the 16-time women's champion and all that. But you have her get in the triple threat or make it a triple threat match and basically steal the title from Becky. It's hard to argue with Becky Lynch's logic here. It's hard to boo her. But I will say I like the pull-apart brawl that we got on Tuesday because I know that we see that a lot, but that's with the men. And you have, when we see those brawls, it's Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, Undertaker, Triple H, John Cena, the big stars. So do you guys think that them giving these two women that pull-apart brawl, that means that they think highly of Becky and Charlotte?
Absolutely. I think so for sure. I think that this is going to be an interesting feud to watch. I don't know if Becky's going to end up getting any momentum out of this or not, or if she'll win the title, but I did like her promo, like Virtue said. I thought it was very well delivered. The content of it, however, it was a bit generic, the typical you fans don't appreciate me anymore type thing, which just doesn't really work at all in this scenario. But yeah, overall, I did like the segment, and I think it's an intriguing feud. So I give it a thumbs up so far. And who knows? Maybe the fans will start booing Becky in other cities. Maybe it was just Brooklyn because they're one of the Bizarro Land cities.
Greg?
I could actually see Becky and Charlotte in Hell in a Cell.
Ooh.
The way this feud's going. I think that could be a possibility, and I'd like to see that. I think both of them could tear it up in there.
Interesting.
Do you think that Becky could, you know how WWE, if the fans say something enough, they did it with Daniel Bryan. Do you think they could say, wow, we got to make Becky the female Daniel Bryan, so that's it. We're going to make Charlotte heel again. Or do you think they just don't care? Obviously, we know they did this with Daniel Bryan, and it worked. Can we ever expect WWE to do that again if somebody's over enough, getting cheered enough? Heck, Stone Cold was supposed to be a heel, right?
Right.
And Brett ended up being the heel. So it does work. I mean, they do go with the crowd when it suits their needs, but do you see Becky being a babyface out of this if the crowd sticks with it from city to city?
I think that I think WWE's stubborn and they want to try and get the heel Becky Lynch over, which she did great heel work in NXT, but I think this is a completely different scenario. Where I don't mind seeing heel Becky Lynch, but they have to think of something other than generic. You never liked me, like Aaron just said. You need to think of other stuff than just the cheap heel heat. You need something different for Becky to be upset about.
But see, the thing is, fans hate generic, right? But because if Becky went out there and cut a CM Punk pipe bomb, break the fourth wall, they're gonna cheer her. So maybe WWE's onto something, and they know generic draws heat. I mean, because that's what happened. Well, they still cheered her though, but. I mean, if Becky went out there with no handcuffs and said whatever the hell she wanted, like Punk did, people are going to – there's no heel Becky at that point, right?
Right.
All right. Good chat, everyone. Anybody want to bring up anything else? If not, we'll do our plugs. 3, 2, 1. All right, TJS, we'll start with you.
NoDQ.com/TJS. It'll take you to my Facebook page. You can add me there. I post a lot of wrestling. I've been getting complaints from family members about all the wrestling posts, but it is what it is, as Aaron Riff says. And also follow me on Twitter at NoDQ_TJS. I tweet there some pretty good memes. And of course, you can go to NoDQ.com/shirts. You could get the No DQ review shirt that Aaron's wearing. You could get the shirt that Virtue's wearing in the review. You can get the No DQ
That's the same one.
Challenge. Yeah, exact same. They're twinning. And Greg has the Wrestling Trivia Challenge shirt. Congratulations, Greg, because if you get through this next challenger, you're going to be the longest reigning Wrestling Trivia Challenge champion of all time. So why don't you get those plugs out there, champ?
Yes, it's lonely at the top, but I'm perfectly fine with it. NoDQ.com/Greg. Like you said, Pro Wrestling Tees. NoDQ.com/shirts. You can get them there. You can get my shirts at ProWrestlingTees.com/PA Sensation. And of course, Wrestling Trivia Challenge. I'm sure Aaron's got somebody lined up for me to try and stop me from taking over Jeff Meacham's reign, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I don't care who you got. But I'm confident enough. I've been champion for almost 6 months now. I think I can handle whoever you got.
Well, I do have a challenger for you, Greg, and he faced Jeff during the first season of Wrestling Trivia Challenge, and he actually had like a 5-point lead, but unfortunately, Jeff made some kind of miraculous comeback. So your opponent this weekend will be the original voice of No DQ CAW, Tommy Wade McCardle. This coming weekend, you versus Wade for the Wrestling Trivia Challenge.
Okay, I didn't think you'd have somebody good, but, okay. All right.
Yes, Wade, and by the way,
in jeopardy.
Let me do the quick plug for him. Ringscoops.com, check out his page. And we got the live stream coming up August 30th, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Call in. Hopefully all three of you call in during it. You're more than welcome to. And stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest. Virtue.
All right. Well, follow me on Twitter at NoDQ_Virtue. You can also go to NoDQ.com/Virtue with a small V. Every Tuesday night, Big G and I record Virtue's Rage live at 11. It ends up on NoDQ.com opinion section anyway the next day. But that's it. So for Aaron Rift, for Greg Cherry, and for Gulp Gulp TJS, I'm Virtue. See everybody next time.